Halpert, a week after Dr. Anthony Fauci refused to answer questions at a Senate COVID hearing, saying this over and over.
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment to the Constitution.
The Republican-led Judiciary Committee meets to consider holding Fauci, the ex-presidential COVID advisor, in contempt of Congress. America's listening to Fox News.
Stay on top of the latest forecast with America's Weather Team in the palm of your hands.
Here's the latest from America's Weather Center.
It's Fox weather updates throughout your busy day, every day.
That heat's going to be out there for one more day.
Temperatures being 30 degrees above average.
Put the power of over 100 meteorologists and the worldwide resources of Fox in your hands with the Fox Weather Podcast. Precise, personal, powerful. Subscribe and listen now at foxnewspodcasts.com. Connect to Fox News Audio on the Fox News app. Listen to hear your favorite hosts like Brian Kilmeade, Jimmy Fallon, and Guy Benson standing up for what's right, live and via podcast. Just click listen, then swipe right and hear the latest news updates on your time. And scroll down to hear the latest podcasts from Fox News. And it's even easier to listen in the car with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Get programming alerts and notifications. Fox News Audio is on the Fox News app. The voices America trusts. Download it now.
There is a new leader at the Centers for Disease Control. The Senate has confirmed Dr. Erica Schwartz to take over the health agency nearly a year after the last CDC director, Susan Menares, was fired by the Trump administration. Less than a month after taking the job, she was accused of having a health agenda not aligned with the president. Now we have an update from the Centers for Disease Control on the opioid epidemic.
The CDC says over 40,000 fewer Americans are dying from opioid overdose deaths annually, a 37% decline from the 2022 high in deaths. President Trump telling Fox News that his military operations, including blowing up cartel drug smuggling boats, are helping.
You know, they're carrying massive amounts of fentanyl, and that's an occupation that's very hard to fill right now. Nobody does it. Nobody would have done what I did.
With a continued push against drugs coming in by land via the president's enforcement and closure of the U.S.-Mexican border, though health experts also attribute the decrease in overdoses to expanded drug treatment and wider availability of opioid reversal drugs. Jeff Manasso, Fox News.
3 people are dead in North Carolina after shooting at a home that the Caswell County Sheriff calls a domestic incident. The gunman is among those dead. Another person was shot and wounded. In California, sheriff's deputies hospitalized.
The unidentified San Bernardino detective was airlifted to Antelope Valley Hospital after he was shot in his lower rib cage. He's in stable condition.
There was an exchange of gunfire. We do not know how many shots were fired at this point. Homicide will determine that based on the facts and evidence.
LA County Sheriff Robert Luna, the suspect is dead. Police not saying how he died. An investigation continues. Chris DeMeo, Fox News.
On Wall Street, stock futures are mixed up for the Dow, down for the NASDAQ the day after the Dow closed at a record high and surging up 263 points, but the NASDAQ dropped over 200. I'm Dave Anthony. This is Fox News.
Hey, it's Sean Thompson. You know, one day it's market volatility. The next day it's conflict overseas. Price jumps, confidence drops, and suddenly retirement feels less certain. When the latest headline pushes costs higher and stokes inflation fears, it can have a ripple effect on your investments and your budget. But here's the thing. Retirement shouldn't depend on perfect timing or on the latest geopolitical noise. Tom Fortino and the Alpha Wealth Group help families right here in the Chicago area build a plan to create income you can't outlive, control taxes, minimize risk, protect your assets, and prepare an estate and legacy plan. It's their 5-pillar retirement planning. Ready to learn more? To get your complimentary retirement roadmap and a retirement analysis today, schedule a meeting with Tom Fortino and the people of Alpha Wealth Group by calling 630-864-6711. That number again, 630-864-6711, or online at alphawealthgroup.com.
My name is Dr. Michael Huber, co-founder of Virago, the immune enhancement cocktail. Virago has earned its place in your medicine cabinet. It's your proven go-to for the flu, colds, and COVID. But you already know that part of the story. But today I want to tell you that if you're suffering from diabetes, hypertension, or autoimmune diseases, we want you to know that they share one common thread. They are inflammation machines. And that inflammation assaults your heart, your brain, and your kidneys 24/7. It's a silent, constant attack on your vital organs, wearing them down every single day. Taking Virago every day shields your heart, protects your kidneys, and guards your brain from chronic inflammation. Virago, the new protective standard in immunity.
Order your bottle of Virago online today at myvirago.com. That's myvirago.com. Use coupon code IMMUNE to save 30%.
Man, I love this place. I've been surfing here since I was a kid. Now, seeing my grandson out on the water, it means everything to me. Watching him and taking in the blue waves, the sea breeze, the blurry horizon.
If you have geographic atrophy, or GA, subtle changes in vision could mean it's progressing toward irreversible vision loss. Izervay is proven to slow GA progression and could help preserve your vision for longer, so you may keep seeing the world around you. Izervay, or avacincaptad pegol, is an eye injection. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may cause blood in the white of the eye, blurred vision, or a temporary increase in eye pressure. Do not drive or use machinery until vision has recovered after an eye injection or exam. Ask your retina specialist how you can slow your GA with Izervay. To learn more, call 1-855-IZERVAY or go to izervay.com. Paid for by Astellas Pharma.
Have you ever wondered, with all the different religions and interpretations of the Bible, how you can be sure that you're on the right path in your spiritual journey? The powerful new book, You and God by Peter Philippi, helps you answer this question and discover how to establish a truly personal relationship with God through biblical understanding and faith. Get your copy of You and God by Peter Philippi today by visiting pbmusa.org. That's pbmusa.org.
Sean Fest returns on August 28th at the Westin Chicago Northwest in Itasca. Be a part of a live, on-location broadcast of The Sean Thompson Show, including a performance of the national anthem, followed by live music, food, drinks, and an opportunity to meet Sean Thompson. Registration is free. Go to 560theanswer.com/SeanFest. That's 560theanswer.com/SHAUNFest. Sponsored in part by LeavingIL.com and by Unique Wooden Flags.
It's August 6th, and this is your Fox Daily Snapshot. Today is Fresh Breath Day. Did you know over 50% of the bacteria found in the human mouth contributes to bad breath? Brush twice a day, including your tongue, since most of the germs that cause bad breath live on it. And mouthwash will help you avoid stinky breath. Also on this day in 2013, Mount Tongariro in New Zealand erupts for the first time since 1897. The first ever website published in 1991 by 36-year-old physicist Tim Berners-Lee. The address info.cern.ch/www/theproject.html. Born on this day in 1970, Indian-American screenwriter, director, and producer M. Night Shyamalan, known for his creepy movies.
No, I'm not even supposed to be here. I stole a life from Mr. Dennis, but he'll be back real soon.
That from the movie Split. I'm CJ Papa. That's your Fox Daily Snapshot.
Important information regarding the Italy Unfiltered Dream Vacation Sweepstakes and the Italy Unfiltered Group Tour scheduled for September 2026. Due to ongoing uncertainty surrounding overseas travel conditions and future international travel considerations, the Italy Unfiltered Tour has been canceled. As a result, the Italy Unfiltered Dream Vacation Sweepstakes has also been canceled, and no prize will be awarded. We understand this may be disappointing and appreciate your interest and participation. Additional information regarding the cancellation is available on our station's website on the Contests and Sweepstakes page. Thank you for your understanding and for being a valued member of our listening family.
Temperatures are rising, and so are concerns about inflation, market volatility, and taxes. Revisit your financial plan this summer. VestGen Wealth Partners work with individuals to develop personalized plans that help navigate changing conditions with confidence. Visit GetRetiredStayRetired.com to learn more.
Advisory services offered through VestGen Advisors, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor. Securities offered through Private Client Services, LLC, member FINRA and SIPC. Private Client Services and VestGen Advisors, LLC are unaffiliated entities. Any information discussed does not constitute investment advice. VestGen Advisors and Private Client Services do not offer tax legal advice.
For over 40 years, the Heartland Institute has stood for the ideas that built this country. Free markets, limited government, and individual freedom. Now you're invited to celebrate that legacy in person. Join Heartland on Thursday, September 3rd for their 42nd anniversary benefit dinner at the historic Palmer House Hilton in downtown Chicago, one of the city's most iconic addresses for over 150 years. This year's keynote speaker is Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, who has led Florida through 2 terms of record economic growth, making it one of the fastest growing states in the nation. The evening kicks off with a reception at 5, dinner at 6, an evening of great company, great conversation, and a shared belief in the principles that made America exceptional. Seats are limited, and they will go fast. Reserve yours today at benefit.heartland.org. That's benefit.heartland.org. The Heartland Institute's 42nd Anniversary Benefit Dinner, September 3rd, Palmer House Hilton, Chicago. Don't just believe in freedom, celebrate it.
Man, I love this place. I've been surfing here since I was a kid. Now, seeing my grandson out on the water, it means everything to me. Watching him and taking in the blue waves, the sea breeze, the blurry horizon.
If you have geographic atrophy, or GA, subtle changes in vision could mean it's progressing toward irreversible vision loss. Izervay is proven to slow GA progression and could help preserve your vision for longer, so you may keep seeing the world around you. Izervay, or avacincaptad pegol, is an eye injection. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may cause blood in the white of the eye, blurred vision, or a temporary increase in eye pressure. Do not drive or use machinery until vision has recovered after an eye injection or exam. Ask your retina specialist how you can slow your GA with Izervay. To learn more, call 1-855-IZERVAY or go to izervay.com. Paid for by Astellas Pharma.
You're probably listening to this in your car, so let me ask you. Would you drive without insurance? Of course not. So why is your retirement portfolio unprotected? Gold is portfolio insurance. It helps de-risk your savings when markets get unpredictable. Noble Gold Investments has helped thousands of Americans do exactly that, with no high-pressure sales and thousands of 5-star reviews. Visit noblegoldinvestments.com. That's noblegoldinvestments.com. Past performance may not be indicative of future results. Investing in precious metals involves risk. Consult with your tax or financial professional before making any investment decisions.
Signature, a division of Esquire Bank, offers Chicago businesses relationship-first banking. Signature knows your name and your story because personalized banking still matters. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature is where I do my business banking.
Hi, I'm Phil Silverman, CFO of Chicago Atlantic and a client of Signature. We provide capital solutions in markets where risk is often fundamentally mispriced and traditional financing can be limited. Ahead of an important and complex transaction closing, Signature promptly assisted us in addressing a wire issue through their monitoring and verbal verification process, helping us administer the closing on time while maintaining best-in-class control oversight. That kind of hands-on attention is hard to find, and that's why we value our relationship with Signature.
Signature helps local businesses succeed. Want to learn how Signature can help turn your business vision into reality? Call Signature, a division of Esquire Bank, at 773-467-5600 or visit signature.esquirebank.com. Esquire Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
I know that hiring can be challenging. You sort through tons of resumes and you get too many so-so applicants. You're just waiting for someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now there's a place where you can meet them fast. ZipRecruiter.
Need to hire right away. Start your search for strong candidates. The right fit awaits. Build your team, build it sooner. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try it for free. And you're on your way to meeting your match. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. So try it now. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
Hey AM 560 listeners, Jeff checking in again from JeffBuysYourHouse.com. What I learned serving our great nation in the military is that every mission is unique and success starts with listening. For nearly 20 years, our veteran-led house buying team has taken the time to understand what matters most to each homeowner we serve. Every home has a story, and every seller has different needs. Whether you want a quick closing or need extra time to find your next place, we customize our approach around what works best for you. That's how we've earned hundreds of 5-star Google reviews and an A+ rating with the BBB, by putting relationships first. No repairs needed, no cleanout required, and you pick the closing date that works best for your schedule. At JeffBuysYourHouse.com, we're here to help you through the entire transition, not just the transaction. Are you ready to work with a local team that takes the time to understand your home selling needs? Sell your house to the trusted source by calling us today at 630-895-9530. That's 630-895-9530 or JeffBuysYourHouse.com.
Now, your official weather forecast.
Today, expect clouds to gradually clear, making way for some sunshine with a passing shower, creating humid conditions. The high will reach 78 degrees. Tonight, anticipate a thunderstorm in the evening with otherwise clear to partly cloudy skies and continued humidity. The low will be around 67 degrees. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com.
Portions of the following show may be pre-recorded.
Now, from The Signature, a division of Esquire Bank Studios. This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft on AM 560. The Answer.
It's Piker parties now, baby. Good morning, Amy Jacobson here. Jim Urio
Good morning.
and I are both in for Dan. How are you, partner?
Well, it's 4:30 and no, it's not 5:15. So I'm coming around. Is what it's a slow process.
And
How are you?
we got ourselves in a hot box here, huh?
That's what's helping me wake up quicker. It's like 150 degrees in here. It's like being in a sauna. The show will be done from a sauna today.
Yeah, Justin, help us out here. Justin
Please,
is our
Justin.
technical producer extraordinaire. Hopefully, the HVAC guy. When does this air kick in?
I think you got about an hour before we see
great.
any meaningful cool time.
If my shirt comes off, that's okay.
Oh, you're going to pull an Alexi Janulius on me?
Exactly, which, by the way, that can dovetail into one of our stories. I saw the one about.
Yeah. Oh, we're going to save
That's called
that.
the tease, right?
Oh, yes. And I know people, radio talk show hosts always say, we have a great show. We actually
really
have
do.
an excellent show that I think we should submit into the Broadcasting Hall of Fame. We're going to have Sam Sanchez on from Moe's Cantina. He's going to tell us about child trafficking that's going on right in front of his face in River North and other places. We have Senator Ron Johnson from the great state of Wisconsin, Jennifer Say from Say Anything, your friend John Strand, who's running for that open congressional seat in Florida, and my favorite, U.S. Senate candidate Michelle Tafoya.
I love her,
from Minnesota.
Which, by the way, it's going to be a great show because there's so much stupid stuff to talk about. Like it's going to be a great show because we have just the ground is fertile for just people doing idiotic things.
And speaking of idiots, the progressives, the DSAs, I don't even know now. I think the ones left of Democratic Socialists of America should now be called Piker's Party.
Why is that?
Because one of his candidates,
that guy,
Abdul El Said, won. I mean, it was a close race, but he won the U.S. Senate nod for the Democratic Party in the state of Michigan.
In the words of Muhammad Ali, we shook up the world.
Yeah, and the first thing he says he's going to do is unite the party. I think you should start by apologizing to the Jewish people, especially of your state.
Sometimes, intra-family squabbles are the biggest ones. But we all know that when we walk out the house, we stand united.
I mean, 312-642-5600, our Alpha Wealth Group call and text line is now open. Do you believe that? Because I recall Mayor Brandon Johnson, after he defeated Paul Vallis in the runoff, said, I'm now going to reach across to the other side and bring us together so we could work as one. And that was another big ginormous lie coming from that man's mouth because he did the exact opposite. Of
course, but
he
also
shamed Republicans, he shamed Trump supporters, and still to this day he shames Trump.
And what could we agree upon now? When you look at what they run on, defunding the police, socialism, there's nothing to compromise on any longer. Which, by the way, something I've said a bunch of times is that we, over the last 6 years, the K-shaped recovery, the K-shaped economy is what has caused this burn it all down attitude where they elect these clowns. And this is something we should not be sleeping on because it's a big deal.
Well, here's the thing. So, Medicare for all.
Of course.
He wants to cut off all foreign aid to Israel, basically hates Jewish people. I don't even know if he likes America. He wants to abolish ICE. His wife is a psychiatrist in Ann Arbor. She only takes cash, so Medicaid and Medicare do not apply to her. They make $618,000. They live in Ann Arbor. Give some of that money back.
Sure.
Commie. I mean, if you're going to be a true communist, you got to share with the people.
Oh, no, it's just us. We're supposed to be the ones who share stuff. The people who administer. And again, I've tons of study. I've figured out what the difference between socialism and communism is that socialism, the perpetrators who are pushing it upon you do it with a smile on their face. And in communism, the smile disappears. That's the only difference I can figure out. Yeah.
Well, the most egregious part of his campaign, though, is that he's aligned himself with Hassan Piker. He's a podcaster.
Right.
Left of the left. He hates America. He says that we deserve 9/11. Yes, you can't hear it enough.
America deserved 9/11, dude. I'm saying it. It doesn't even matter. None of this justifies that Palestinians have a right to dignity, a right to emancipation, a right to live free lives, free from this occupation. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if rapes happen on October 7. Like, that doesn't change the dynamic for me even this much.
So he campaigned with Piker even on Election Day, Jim. They had an Election Day pool party.
Did they?
In Detroit. Nice. Yeah, he went to that. Oh, I don't know if his wife could go because she wears a hijab, but he campaigned with Piker. He says he disagrees with that statement that America deserved 9/11, but he won't disavow Piker or Piker's views.
Again, it's this the crazy is what's in right now. I can't believe the world we live in right now that he won't even say that that's the wrong thing to say, and that means he's an awful dude. So I'm sorry. Yeah.
Well, U.S. Senate candidate on the Republican side, Mike Rogers, he got the nomination. Yep. Easy peasy. He's got to start right now coming out with campaign ads, and he spoke to the media yesterday.
I have never seen someone so radical, so extreme, get nominated by a political party. The Democrat Party is lost to this hardcore socialist attitude.
312-642-5600. Let's go to Verlon in the state of Michigan. Verlon, you've got boots on the ground there.
Yeah, I heard you talking about my state, so I had to call in. Yeah, I predicted that he was going to win the primary, but he's not going to beat Mike Rogers. Mike Rogers is talking common sense, and I predicted a couple of years ago before I moved down here that Michigan will turn red. Don't even worry about it. People out here, they just don't like to confront people. They're not in your face like we are, but they're talking about they're going to vote for Mike Rogers. Don't worry about it.
Well, but here's the thing: are some moderate Democrats, you think, going to vote for Rogers?
I think they're going to stay home. See, I'm going to tell you something. The DSA, they have already won because they're taking over the Democrat Party. But I'm cool with that. They can destroy their party all they want. It's just going to make it better for us. Don't worry about it, Amy. Everything is easy peasy.
You're telling us to not worry about it, but I'm still worried about it.
Well, did you vote, Verlon?
Yes, I voted. And I voted for John Jones.
Yep.
Because I was going to go for Mike Cox, but since he pulled out, I went for John Jones. So don't worry about it. We're going to have a Republican governor. We're going to have a Republican Senate. We'll be good. We'll be good.
All right. Mm-hmm. I love your confidence. Thank you. And see, he said my state of Michigan. That makes me sad because Verlon used to be one of us stuck here in Illinois. Yeah. Let's go to Hoffman Estates, Mr. Joe. Hi, Joe.
Hey, Amy. Good to hear you. I was wondering, do you think a lot of young people are voting socialist at this point because they're playing by the rules, they're doing everything they're supposed to, and they just really can't get ahead? They're living in one-bedroom apartments or they're in their parents' basement. They can't afford a new car anymore. It seems like you can't beat them, join them. It's almost that mentality.
But we all did that.
I know.
Mean, I lived in a tough shed in Tucson and made $15,000 a year. Thanks, Joe, for the phone call.
It's going to be a rare time when you and I disagree, Amy, because I agree with you. The life in the 70s, these people have no idea what it was like. However, it's a real thing that they have $50,000 worth of student loans, that the government's pushed on them, that housing has gone through the roof. It's a real thing that they're disappointed. But the odd thing is that they're planning on giving more power to the political party that caused most of these problems, but it's a real problem.
All right, let's go to Rick in Des Plaines. Hi, Rick. How are you?
Hi, Amy. I'm always on there.
Hey.
I'm always listening. You know that. I just want to welcome you back to the morning show. And Ed Verlon, he's a smart man, except for moving to Michigan. But then again, my cousin did the same thing. But he's right. That. People are starting to come around. They're starting to figure out that this is our country, not theirs. You can come here all you want, but assimilate.
Yes, that's true. But that's one thing about the Muslim religion, and I know. Thanks, Rick, for the phone call. Part of it is conform or die.
Yeah,
that's part of it, and death to America, death to Israel. That doesn't sit well with a lot of people. But there's some Muslims that are wonderful people that have assimilated.
Sure, I'm sure.
But it's just when you hit like El Sayed, he's getting a little. Listen to this. This guy's popping off here on Mike Rogers. Are you ready?
My name is not raising your gas prices.
Accusing Rogers of using his Arabic name as a line of attack.
They think that you want to use my whole name against me. Mike, listen, man, if you can't say the name, it's Abdurrahman, keep the name out your damn mouth.
We're starting that again? Keep it out your mouth?
Yeah, no is my answer to that. I'll say whatever
Remember
name I want.
That started with Will Smith.
Oh, exactly. Keep your name out. Like, who
When
do you
with
think you are? Some
Chris
authority
Rock.
you have? Right.
Chris Rock was up there saying to his wife, he go, keep my wife's name out your mouth.
Yeah, it's not proper English. It's. I do not like. Yeah, there's
But then
nothing.
that translated into Illinois politicians who, if somebody was living in a different state and still a Republican, still cared about the state of Illinois, they'd say, keep Chicago out your mouth.
No.
It's
Yes.
so,
I will
stop
complain
it.
about what I want to complain when I want to complain about
Right,
it.
and I shouldn't even have brought it up.
Yeah,
Let's go to Craig in Mount Greenwood. Good morning, Craig. How are you?
Hey, good morning, Amy and Jim. It's good to hear you guys. Hey, listen, this is like way beyond what most people think about it. It's beyond the Democrat, Republican political stuff in it. It's good against evil. And 1962 is when they basically ended prayer in school and all that. And basically, the devil's been on the move all through history and all that. And we're at a point in history where you can see how just the anti-God, the immorality, the injustice, the just it's unbelievable corruption everywhere in the government and everywhere you look, and so biblical, like in biblical history, and that we're really late in time here. We're in these like end times of where stuff is messed up, and so that's why you see this something you would never ever expect in our country. These Muslims and anti-Americans and just anti-Semite, everything's to such a high degree, and they're winning elections, and it's because it is just like the Bible talked about in the end times, good against evil, and that's what we're seeing and experiencing.
All right, thanks, Craig, for the phone call. Let's go to Ed in Elmhurst. Hi, Ed. Good morning.
Hello.
Hello.
How do you defeat the power of entitlement? And communism is promise of entitlement, and that includes government workers. So that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I know. I mean, at the voting it didn't work in Michigan, and they had another congressional candidate, Michigan's 7th congressional district, that's also, a self-proclaimed socialist / communist. One was taken down, one was elevated. So let's go to Marvin in Burlington, Wisconsin. Marvin, you're going to have to be listening at 6:35 because Senator Ron Johnson's coming on.
Yeah, I vote for him twice. The question I have is for Jim. You mentioned the 70s and the difficulties we had in the economy then. What do you think it's the level of taxes that we're paying in today's world or today's times versus back then, and the extremely elevated cost of higher education that was nowhere near what it costs today if you look at the percentages? And do you think that is stifling the opportunities for young folks today? And isn't that sort of where the blame is? Every time you turn around, there's a fee or a tax and they're very high.
So
I just wanted your thoughts on that.
Yeah, what you said about the cost of college education, I think that's embedded in the dissatisfaction with the young community. And again, I've been saying this since 2010 when the government took over the student loan program. They were going to push out loans to people to gender interpretive dance and value that degree the same as an electrical engineering degree. And where was that going to lead us? It was going to lead us to people who are unemployable with $50,000 worth of debt. And that's where we are now. For them to be disappointed about that, yes. But for them to I think it's so myopic to look at the world we grew up in now. And I know there's extreme poverty in a lot of places, even within our own country. But everybody was impoverished in the 70s. We had 4 cars, but none of them actually worked. You just have to take parts from one to the other and put it together with duct tape to try to take your data out, right? So it was a crazy time in the 70s, and we were fine.
All right, coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer with special guests Amy Jacobson and Jim Murio, we are going to talk to Sam Sanchez. This is the inside story that you're only going to hear here about human trafficking and children brought here illegally, and a follow-up on this 9-year-old girl who's continuing to sell flowers in River North, and nobody knows where her mother is. We'll have that after Mike Scott's news.
5:31 in Chicago. Right now we have very humid and 73-degree conditions in the Chicago area, and Illinois House Speaker Chris Welch publicly acknowledged missteps in the handling of sexual harassment allegations against former state representative, Plainfield Democrat Representative Harry Benton, saying he didn't do enough to protect women and called the episode a systemic failure that is calling for demands for reform.
And we have to focus on how do we fix the system failures.
Welch apologized to a sexual harassment victim as well of former Representative Benton, who says Welch made her feel uncomfortable.
The first time that I learned that I made her feel uncomfortable was when I read it in the Chicago Tribune, and I felt terrible. I really did. And honestly, I'm going to own that. I regret it.
Welch is calling for a central human resource office for the legislature so staffers can take their complaints to someone other than House leadership. Reports of prisoner mistreatment, intentionally set fires, and prisoners setting themselves on fire have sparked state lawmakers to demand more oversight of state corrections, and has put Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker on his back heel.
We have internal auditors who are auditing the way that the correction system operates.
Pritzker declined to address the facility's weakening conditions this week. According to a recent investigation by the Marshall Project, more than 70 fires have started at the Joliet Treatment Center, a facility that the Illinois Department of Corrections describes as a prison for convicted adult male felons with severe mental illness. Local businessman and political gadfly Willie Wilson will make another run for mayor of Chicago. The 78-year-old McDonald's owner has made 3 previous attempts for the 5th floor office at Chicago City Hall and has run for other offices as well. A Chicago man accused of killing 2 girlfriends nearly 1 year apart is ordered by a judge to remain behind bars. Anthony Nunley has been charged with 2 counts of murder. The 21-year-old defendant is accused of killing a 17-year-old in October of 2025 and has been charged in a shooting that killed 19-year-old Sierra Evans in 2024. 2 are charged in the death of a Plainfield man found dismembered in Lake Mattoon, are pleading not guilty. Robin Turner and James Adams entered a not guilty plea this week in a Will County courtroom. Both face charges of first-degree murder and dismemberment and the concealment of a homicidal death. The remains of Dale Wayne Turner were discovered in the lake on June 28. A Naperville woman was sentenced to 38 years in prison this week for fatally shooting her fiancé during an argument back in 2020. According to the DuPage County State's Attorney's Office, Rose LaGrone was found guilty of first-degree murder in February. A Chicago lab owner is pleading guilty to conspiring with a former Loretto Hospital executive in a COVID-19 testing scam. Change of plea this week saw Mohammed Sujudeen admitting to working with former Loretto CFO Anash Ahmed to defraud the U.S. government of tens of millions of dollars. Today, gas prices were expected to jump up 60 cents a gallon once taxes fell back in place in Indiana. Since May, Governor Mike Braun has kept prices lower than most Midwest states by suspending both the gas excise tax and the gas usage tax. Indiana Democrats say he's bending the law.
The law is very clear that you can do an emergency for a maximum of 120 days. He said that repeatedly. He's done his 120 days, so he comes up with an excuse, a false premise.
However, with an emergency order late yesterday, the governor, Mike Braun, is once more extending the gas tax holiday through September 5th.
These disruptions have created new pressures on fuel prices that are driving the price of gas for Hoosiers to unnatural levels outside the norm of standard economic conditions.
Braun's unilateral authority to suspend taxes has been capped at 120 days. The news is a service of Audible. When you start listening to books on Audible, traffic will seem like less of an annoyance. Audible, stories that speak to you. New members can start listening with a 30-day free trial, audible.com. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next, and in 2 minutes, a check of your AccuWeather forecast in our Air Right Heating and Cooling Weather Center.
Mike Gallagher chooses his words carefully.
They're going to destroy President Trump's agenda with these DSA freaks who are winning elections all over America. And yes, I use that word carefully. After much consideration, freakish is the only way to describe a platform that advocates for the abolition of the presidency, the Senate, the Supreme Court, the borders, no police. These are a bunch of nutcases.
The Mike Gallagher Show. Weekdays at 9 on AM 560. The Answer.
The IRS finally caught up with Louie.
I hadn't paid my taxes in 8 years. I owe the IRS a lot of money.
Louie was in deep trouble.
We're going to take your house, put a lien on your bank account, garnish your pay. They don't care. They're going to take your paycheck.
Louie found out about Optima Tax Relief, the leading tax resolution firm. A-plus rated by the Better Business Bureau, they've resolved over $3 billion for their clients.
Optima Tax, they help me. They calm me down. They make me feel comfortable, and I trust them.
Louie has a lot to be thankful for.
I don't owe the IRS anymore, and I'm able to live a comfortable life, a lot better life. It was because of Optima Tax.
For tax help you can trust, call Optima now for a free consultation. Take it from Louie.
If you owe the IRS, don't go it alone. Give Optima Tax a call. They can help you.
Call 800-965-1433. 800-965-1433. 800-965-1433.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Have you been watching gold and silver lately? Hard to ignore. Back in January of 2025, silver was under $30 an ounce, and now it's more than doubled. Again, not bad, right? Some experts say this bull market is just getting started. Others say it's a good time to take some money off the table. Either way, whether you're buying or selling, Fox Valley Coins in Naperville is the place to go. They stock large quantities of all the major bullion coins and bars. And here's what sets them apart. Unlike places that only pay melt value, Fox Valley Coins pays more for high-grade coins and scarcer dates. That's real money left in your pocket. They also buy scrap sterling flatware, jewelry, silver-plated items, and old proof sets. And they specialize in U.S. and foreign collector and investment coins and currency, both buying and selling. Fox Valley Coins, one light north of I-88 on Route 59 at Ferry Road in Naperville. Family-owned with integrity since 1981.
I'm attorney Stephen Leahy. If you're a business owner with unfiled tax returns, tax season is not your friend. This is when the IRS turns up the heat. They match 1099s. They review payroll filings. They compare bank deposits. And when returns are missing, they don't send you a warning. They take action. Penalties stack up fast. Liens become public. Bank levies can drain your account. I see it every year. Good business owners who waited too long, not because they're crooks, but because they were overwhelmed. Let me be clear, hiding makes it worse. Action makes it fixable. I help business owners get compliant, file what's missing, and negotiate from a position of strength, not fear. Don't wait for the next certified letter. Don't wait for a levy. Go to fightbacknow.com and sign up for my daily email. I'll tell you exactly what to do next, step by step. Or call me right now at 312-664-6649. Act now before the IRS acts first.
A riddle brought to you by Progressive Insurance. What do your home and auto have in common? Progressive protects them both. It was an easy riddle. Learn more at progressive.com.
Now, your official weather forecast.
Today, expect clouds to gradually clear, making way for some sunshine with a passing shower. It'll be humid with a high of 78. Tonight, there is a chance of a thunderstorm in the evening. Otherwise, skies will be clear to partly cloudy, remaining humid with a low of 67. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Saving the American Dream with Jim Martyr. Straight talk for law-abiding lovers of America. This Saturday evening at 7 on AM 560, The Answer.
Now, from The Signature, a division of Esquire Bank Studios. Sean Fest returns on August 28th at the Westin Chicago Northwest in Itasca. Registration is free. Go to 560theanswer.com/SHAUN Fest.
Are you going to go to Sean Fest?
I'm thinking about it. I kind of wanted Sean to text me and say, hey, Jim, can you come to Sean Fest?
Wow.
I'm holding out. Yeah, I
Well, it
want to
doesn't
feel
work that
important.
way.
It doesn't work that way?
No.
I'll text him.
That
Yeah.
is Jim Murio. I am Amy Jacobson. We are filling in for Dan Proft. He will be back tomorrow. And a program note, at 11:35 this morning, Battle of the Greeks, Maria Pappas is going to be joining us to talk about Alexi Giannoulias joining the race for mayor, and she'll explain.
can't
Do you know what
split
she
the
called
Greeks.
him? It was the quote of the week. She's not holding back. And this was in the Chicago Tribune. She said, quote, "No one should be mayor who has an IQ lower than their body temperature."
Ooh, that's a good one.
I know.
I like her already.
But speaking of Chicago, we wanted to get an update on a 9-year-old girl who allegedly is here illegally. One of millions of kids who came here unaccompanied across the border when Biden had his open borders. And one of the people who was responsible for all these unaccompanied immigrant minor children was Javier Becerra. He's running for governor, don't you know, in the state of California. And he used to be the Department of Homeland Security chief.
During your time as HHS secretary, a New York Times investigation found the health department couldn't find some 85,000 children it had released.
That's not accurate. What you just read is not accurate. First, that's what I'll say, because it was never the case that we could not find kids. You're essentially, I don't know if you got those talking points from Donald Trump.
It's from a New York Times article.
That's not what the New York Times article said. The New York Times said that individuals, the children and their sponsors, did not respond to calls. They didn't say we couldn't find kids.
Well, nearly 146,000 have been reunited, but there's still hundreds of thousands of kids who came over here with, the parents paid a mule to take them across the border. A lot of them were being trafficked, some for sex, some for child labor. And we think that might be the case outside a River North bar in Chicago. So let's welcome to the program Sam Sanchez. I do believe this is your first time on the Morning Answer. Good morning, Mr. Sanchez. How are you?
Good morning, Amy. I'm fine. How are you? Thank you.
Yeah, we're doing great. So tell us what happened that night in July outside your bar.
Well, Amy, it's been going on for about 2 years, a little bit longer than 2 years. We've been reporting it to the city officials, Alderman Andrew Vasquez, who's in charge of the immigration committee, and these children that they're out there until 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning. Not one, but multiple children, one adult, or sometimes these adults, they don't know if they're not their children, and some of these children don't even know who their parents are. And we know this because, we did talk to them. We try to help them out more in the wintertime. They're out freezing. They're 10 below zero. They have the children working, trying to sell candy, chocolate, and the summertime flowers.
They used to do this in El Paso, and then they'd run across the border when police came. Are police aware of this situation?
They do. We call 911. The police shows up. Listen, we're short police. We really are. We don't have enough police. There's violent crime out there. So they category things on what's emergency. And the peddling on the street is not a top, one of the top priorities. But they do show up. And the children run. The same thing as El Paso. They'll run to a dark street, dark alley. Wherever, so they can hide and run. They're very well trained. They know what to do. They turn their face when you got a camera. They hide their face. They know how to ask for money. They got a cell phone. It could be an iPhone. Most of the kids have iPhones, and they're walking up to people that are intoxicated and ask them to Venmo them.
This is like third world stuff. This is so staggering to most people, and how the system completely lets these kids down. These kids there, we know they're there. Like you're saying, this is not a mystery. The whole neighborhood knows it. But for some odd reason, the system can't fix this problem, which it seems like an easy problem to fix. Why?
And here's the thing. And the children are in danger. I think last year there was they extradited a child predator from somewhere on Clark Street, busy street. Because the children are not just in River North. People see them and anywhere there's traffic, there's people, concerts, you see the children, where there's a mass amount of people, entertainment, West Loop, North Side, Wrigleyville, front of bars, restaurants. And I want to get back to this child because, she's still out there. And actually, she hasn't been out there in a week, but she was out there after the incident happened.
Well, can you remind? Let's take a step back here. Just tell us what happened in July with this 9-year-old girl.
Yeah, I apologize. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
So they stayed right by the door. They blocked the doors when people were coming in, and I did. After the incident, I was going through the cameras, and I noticed that there was this one woman intoxicated following the little girl and arguing with her. I approached her and tried to go to her pockets looking for something, and she picked up the little girl and the child, and body slammed her and jumped on top of her, and at that time, the other lady who sells flowers was trying to stop her with one hand, and some other young lady got involved, and that's where the altercation happened. But yeah, she was attacked by this other woman. She's not small. She's a tall girl. She's very, powerful. She could have hurt a little child, and very aggressively attacked her. She was intoxicated. So one of the biggest fears is these children are going to get hurt. Either they're going to get picked up, they're going to be taken, they're going to get trampled on. Because there's children that are 3 years old or younger walking on the sidewalk at that hour. And we all know. The bar scene. Sometimes people, they get intoxicated and they fight. And when they fight, they're not looking who's around them. We asked the mayor many times, the mayor's office. I'm sorry, not directly to the mayor, but the mayor's office, and we did ask Andrew Vasquez, and he sent a team out about 2 years ago. He came out one time to talk to us. The chamber. At Lake Beach Chamber of Commerce also talked to the city about it. So we've been reporting this over and over and over. We're worried about the children.
Well, what about this 9-year-old girl? Tell me about her.
Well, she was assaulted, but I didn't realize she was assaulted until 2 days after when I was reviewing the videos. So I went that weekend to look for the child, and she was there, and I talked to her, and she wouldn't talk to me. And I asked her, "Is this your parents? Where's your parents?" She goes, "I don't know." And they do have their own dialogue. They're Ecuadorian, I believe. That's what the association of the street vendors said, and they have a dialogue, but they do understand Spanish. And I did talk to the lady that was next to her when she got assaulted, and I said, "Is that your daughter?" She goes, "No, it's not my daughter." I said, "Well, where's the parents?" She goes, "I don't know." So somebody needs to investigate. Are these the children that are missing? Are the parents abusing them, or are they being trafficked? We don't know, but someone needs to do something. It's been 2 years. It's been 2 years. Every restaurant owner and bar owner that sees them complains about it and calls the police, not because we don't want them to make a living. It's that we know they're in danger.
Right. And you don't know if they're being, trafficked sexually as well. And it's so disturbing. Do you know where they're staying at night? Has anybody been able to follow these young children to see if they're in a shelter, if they're in a homeless encampment?
No, we don't know. We don't know. We see the children. There's an occasion you'll see a minivan drop them off, like part of the corner way, drop off people. And here's the thing: if you look at the children with the flowers, it's the same bucket, same bouquet, same flowers. Everything's identical from the south side to the west side to the lakefront and River North. No matter where you go, it's all unified. They're not. It's organized. And people know it's organized. You can tell. The police know it's organized. Are they investigating? I heard the city is doing something now. The Vice might be out there looking for somebody. I don't know. The police, we're shorthanded. We need help. We need the state to get involved. The state should have, and the Department of the federal government needs to help out too. If we're looking for these children, they're right here. Here's a bunch of children.
So
come and help them, please.
This is a crazy story, and this is really so sobering. But you think about 4 years of the southern border just kicked wide open, and everybody said, surge the border, words of Joe Biden himself. So what happened? So these kind of downstream things that happen are staggering. But Do you have any idea? Like, what is your idea how to solve this? Does it have because we obviously can't rely on the system. The system is failing them. What can we do?
It's citizens. I mean, keep calling 911 and reporting it. I mean, we have to. I mean, we're always in our CAPS meetings. We talk about it. Just keep reporting it because all this is documented, and eventually, when some adults take this office, and I know I don't care what administration does it, but somebody eventually is going to have to fix this problem. But if we don't report it and we ignore it, it's just going to go. The landscape of the city of Chicago has changed since the mass migration. We all chipped in. I mean, when Mary Lori Lightfoot was in office, when the buses started to arrive in, we as restaurant owners donated hundreds of thousands of meals, donated, then sell. Everybody, we got together, same thing as COVID. We just gave food away. I mean, myself gave away over 100,000 individual meals. I mean, to help the children, help the families. You know, we thought it was a temporary thing. They took them in, and they talked about protecting the migrants. And we're like, okay, so, you know, they're human. We have to take care of them. We can't abandon the children on the street. But what happens after that? They took them into shelters, and then they shut down the shelter. They moved them out. They shut down the hotels, and they put them in front of our restaurants. That is not the right thing to do. Either if you're going to stand there and talk about how great of a mayor you are or alderman, and you want to do the human thing, and then do it. But don't dump them on the street. Be responsible. Be a responsible elected officials, and take care of the people you took in.
Well, according to the Department of Homeland Security, 450,000 kids, they believe, were illegally smuggled across the U.S.-Mexican border. Again, 146,000 and counting have been reunited. But this is just a stark reminder of how politicians' policies can ruin children's lives.
And if you're not taking care of the children, like, what is the even point of all this? That's the tip of the spear. This is amazing to me.
So Sam Sanchez, owner of Moe's Cantina, you're having a fundraiser, God bless you, for Chicago police officer Crespo. And let me say his name again, Officer Crespo. He was injured at Swedish Covenant Hospital. His partner, Officer John Bartholomew, was killed by a man, 7-time convicted felon, who cut off his ankle monitor, should have been behind bars in the first place. Do you know, I mean, I've heard good news that he's in rehab. He can raise one of his arms. He could speak. He's in a wheelchair, and that he's possibly going to be at this event. Could you tell us where it is and when it is?
Yeah. So we're doing the event at Old Crow Smokehouse restaurant, at the country and barbecue restaurant at 3506 North Clark Street, just a block from Wrigley Field. It's on Friday, September 18th. We're gonna have barbecue, food, drinks, live band by Scott DeBose. A great country band. It's amazing. They play by us a lot. They play all over the city. They're well known. You're going to really have there's going to be raffles, live music, prizes, auctions. I mean, we're encouraging everybody to join and chip in. I mean, we've done this many times, and a lot of people participate. We have to help our police officers. Mm-hmm. Our police officers are being so disrespected. They are being abandoned. They don't have the support. What we could do is give moral support, give the family financial support. It's so important that every police officer out there get the support. I mean, if you see an officer on the street, say hello and say thank you. Say thank you, because they don't run away. They run right in front of a danger to protect us. And we are. I mean, I have children, and my friends have children, and our biggest fear is them getting hurt on the street. We rely on the police. Even a bad person will call 911 when he's in trouble. We need our police officers to be respected.
All right.
So this fundraiser is really important. I'm asking everyone, please help us raise some money and pray for him for his good. I mean, his well-being. I mean, he is in a wheelchair right now, and we're hoping for a better recovery.
All right, Sam Sanchez. We're going to have to leave it there. Owner of Moe's Cantina. The event for Officer Crespo, again, is Friday, September 18th at the Old Crow Smokehouse on 3500 North Clark Street. We will be there. Thank you so much, Mr. Sanchez, and have a great day.
Thank you, Amy. Have a great day.
And he joined us on our Alpha Wealth Group answer line.
There's only one radio show in Chicago talking about today's biggest stories and telling you what they really mean. That show is this one. Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer. Sign up for the AM 560 Answer Advantage to get early alerts on event ticket sales, special discounts, and contest opportunities. Sign up today at 560theanswer.com/advantage.
Each morning, the newsmakers and the newsbreakers shaping today's conversation are heard on the AlphaWealthGroup.com answer line on Chicago's Morning Answer. When you need answers about what's happening in your world, you turn to AM 560 The Answer. And when you need answers about how to prepare for and protect your retirement, you turn to the Alpha Wealth Group, now the proud sponsor of the AM 560 Answer line, right here on Chicago's source for news, opinion, and insight. AM 560 The Answer.
This is Seth Leibson for townhall.com. With Abdul El-Sayed's victory in Michigan, the Democratic Party has gone from Barack Obama denouncing those who said America deserved 9/11 to campaigning with those who say just that, like Hassan Piker, the left's most famous podcaster. As the political philosopher Jerry Garcia wrote, "What a long, strange trip it's been." El-Sayed is the latest success endorsed and campaigned for by the Marxist Islamist axis of the Democratic Socialists of America. This juggernaut is proving unstoppable and taking over the Democratic Party. A generation ago, a real political philosopher, Harry Jaffa, pointed out that with the fall of the Berlin Wall, utopian communism would no longer be seen as simply a threat from abroad, but a more deadly and dangerous phase here at home could follow. Quite right. A wall can stop people, but not their ideas. That enemy is here and potent. The two-party system is now looking Republican on one hand and Marxist Islamist on the other. We cannot simply wish this away or ignore it. I'm Seth Leibson.
Gain insight into building strong marriages and raising godly children with Focus on the Family with Jim Daly each weekday at 11:30 a.m. on our sister station, AM 1160. Hope for your life. AM 560, The Answer.
I mean, this is so typical of our mainstream media. So everybody covered the story of this intoxicated woman slamming a 9-year-old girl, street vendor, onto the ground. Again, as our Sam Sanchez, our last guest, said, nobody knows where her parents are. She doesn't know where her parents are, living on the streets. And Channel 7 focuses on the Street Vendors Association of Chicago said the attack is one of many incidents highlighting safety concerns for vendors. They focused on the safety of vendors, not focusing
9-year-old?
Yeah, not focusing on the fact that she is a 9-year-old girl, not focusing on the fact that this surveillance video, which you can see, shows other younger kids than 9 selling trinkets, flowers, bottles of water at 2, 3 in the morning.
Oh, and this is because the legacy media doesn't want to admit that they were complicit in this whole thing by running cover when we became a sanctuary city and welcomed the world's migrants here. So they'll never admit they were wrong, and they'll always try to move the conversation somewhere else.
I mean, honest, and why are people giving them money too?
Yeah.
They say, "Donde está tu madre? Donde está tu padre?" The donde? Like, talk to them. And we got a text message saying, "Amy, don't send in police, send in social workers." That is a good way to stop this problem. Yeah, because they do have social workers. You know, this is where they should be, besides barricade situations.
Yeah.
Why aren't they doing anything?
We want someone to do something. Yes. Someone who's paid to do something, not Sam Sanchez, whose job it is to sell burritos.
Right, and drinks at night. But, I mean, I just thought that the left cared about the children. You know,
not so much.
They always say that. Well, speaking of the left, the speaker speaks. Speaker Emmanuel Welsh, he's on an apology tour, don't you know?
Sure.
We'll have his highlights and lowlights. Today, clouds giving way to some sunshine, a high of 79 degrees at 6 a.m. WIND Chicago.
Trying to work out a deal to open up the Strait of Hormuz. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. Iran and Oman are said to be close to an agreement as President Trump demands the attacks on ships end, saying in a Las Vegas rally he prefers a deal.
We were set for the biggest attack of any attack, and we've hit them very hard for the last few months.
Amid the possibility of a return to conflict with Iran if an agreement isn't reached, President Trump posted to Truth Social overnight about reports the United States is running out of air defense interceptors. The president said, in part, the U.S. has massive amounts of munitions, especially of certain types. He goes on to say, additionally, large amounts are being manufactured and shipped to the U.S. as needed.
Fox's Trey Yingst in Tel Aviv. 2 Israeli soldiers have been killed in Lebanon, a building they went into as part of a security sweep exploded. 4 other soldiers badly wounded, prompting Israel to launch retaliatory strikes targeting Hezbollah militants. Back to the president in Las Vegas. He also touted what he calls a great economy.
And I'm not getting credit from the fake news for what I've done. I never have gotten credit. I don't get credit.
And he calls fake polls showing a large majority of Americans think the economy is not in good shape and oppose the president's handling of the economy. A Senate committee will gather next hour to consider holding ex-presidential advisor Dr. Anthony Fauci in contempt of Congress. Fox's Madeline Rivera in Washington.
Republicans say Dr. Fauci should have been able to answer questions during his hearing last week because of his preemptive pardon from former President Biden. But the pardon only covers what happened before 2025, meaning Fauci could face charges for any perjury committed last Wednesday. So he invoked the Fifth Amendment more than 100 times, accusing Chairman Rand Paul of having a vendetta against him.
To get me to say something, anything, that could vindicate his repeated public pledges that I end up, in his words, quote, behind bars.
The contempt resolution could be referred to the Justice Department. America's listening to Fox News.
6:02 in Chicago. Good morning, everyone. I'm Mike Scott in the QC Kinetics newsroom. Illinois House Speaker Chris Welch publicly acknowledged missteps in his handling of sexual harassment allegations against former state representative Plainfield Democrat Harry Benton, saying he didn't do enough to protect women and called the episode a system failure that demands reform.
This was a system failure, and we have to focus on how do we fix the system failures.
Welch apologized to a sexual harassment victim of former state representative Benton, who says Welch made her feel uncomfortable.
The first time that I learned that I made her feel uncomfortable was when I read it in the Chicago Tribune, and I felt terrible. I really did. And honestly, I'm going to own that. I regret it.
Welch is now calling for a central human resource office for the legislature, so staffers and employees of lawmakers can take their complaints to someone other than House leadership. Local businessman and political gadfly Willie Wilson will make another run for mayor of Chicago. The 78-year-old entrepreneur and McDonald's owner has made 3 previous attempts for the 5th floor at City Hall. A formal announcement is set for Monday. A special investigating committee is scheduled to meet today to begin inquiring about alleged financial misconduct of another state Democrat. Representative Carol Ammons of Champaign and her husband Aaron Ammons, who serves as Champaign County Clerk, were both federally indicted early last month. Both pleaded not guilty. A House investigative hearing will investigate whether Ammons should be expelled from the House. The first hearing takes place at noon at the Illinois Capitol. Both Carol and Aaron Ammons are scheduled to appear again before a federal judge August 24. Chicago U.S. Attorney Andrew Boutros argued this week it's unnecessary to appoint outside lawyers to probe for misconduct or potentially impose sanctions in the tainted Broadview 6 case. Boutros says steps have been taken already to address longtime Assistant U.S. Attorney Sherry Mecklenburg's conduct before the grand jury that handed up indictments against the Broadview 6. Chicago sports. Bears have a key defender back on the field at training camp. Linebacker T.J. Edwards was back yesterday after being activated from the non-football injury list. Cubs hold off the Dodgers 7-6 at Wrigley. Cubs get the sweep and host Toronto this afternoon. Sox lost at Fenway 4-0. They'll try to avoid the sweep this evening in Boston. The news is a service of the AM 560 store. Go to 560theanswer.com/store. A check of traffic and weather coming up next on AM 560.
If you listen to the mainstream media and the Democrats, you'd think it was a sin to be black and conservative. Well, John Anthony blows up that perception every week on Black and Right. Join John this Saturday afternoon at 4 when he pushes back against the left and its regressive, progressive agenda that tries to dictate how people should think or feel about politics. Listen to Black and Right this Saturday afternoon at 4, right here on AM 560. The Answer.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-884-1012 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-884-1012. That's 800-884-1012. What do you have to lose? Call 800-884-1012. Again, 800-884-1012.
Have you been watching gold and silver lately? Hard to ignore. Back in January of 2025, silver was under $30 an ounce, and now it's more than doubled. Again, not bad, right? Some experts say this bull market is just getting started. Others say it's a good time to take some money off the table. Either way, whether you're buying or selling, Fox Valley Coins in Naperville is the place to go. They stock large quantities of all the major bullion coins and bars. And here's what sets them apart. Unlike places that only pay melt value, Fox Valley Coins pays more for high-grade coins and scarcer dates. That's real money left in your pocket. They also buy scrap sterling flatware, jewelry, silver-plated items, and old proof sets. And they specialize in U.S. and foreign collector and investment coins and currency, both buying and selling. Fox Valley Coins, one light north of I-88 on Route 59 at Ferry Road in Naperville. Family-owned with integrity since 1981.
Team Hochberg Traffic Center time. Jane Addams Toll Road, they have just reopened an entrance ramp from an earlier rollover crash eastbound on Roselle Road. Reagan I-88 accident, left lane blocked. Your stop and go from Highland Avenue to the Myers Toll, site of the accident. Accident on I-57. It's on the outbound side near 167th. You've got two right lanes blocked. And the Indiana Toll Road is entirely shut down this morning, eastbound between the Portage Interchange and State Road 49. You've got an accident being investigated by the Indiana State Police. Troopers are on the scene. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Now a check of your morning forecast in the Air Right Heating and Cooling Weather Center with Jason Caterina.
Today, expect clouds to gradually clear, making way for some sunshine with a passing shower. It'll be humid with the high of 78. Tonight, there is a chance of a thunderstorm in the evening. Otherwise, skies will be clear to partly cloudy, remaining humid with a low of 67. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com. Now, from The Signature, a division of Esquire Bank Studios. This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft on AM 560. The Answer.
The speaker has spoken. Good morning, Amy Jacobson here. Jim Muria. We are in for Dan Proft.
He's playing golf, I assume.
Assumptions are the mother of all screw-ups, but I would probably say yes.
Yeah, sometimes
Maybe
they work.
in some club tournament somewhere.
That's what I would guess.
Yes,
Yeah.
but yesterday, Speaker Welch finally came out of the closet. He's on an apology tour, don't you know? And he chose...
come out of the closet is not, we don't use it that way as much anymore.
Well, I'm just saying.
Okay, I know what you mean.
He's addressing an issue at hand. He's desperately trying to keep his job. This after a number of Republicans and one Democrat Crespo out of the suburbs, said that he should resign his speakership after he botched this 3-year-old report about Representative Harry Benton. Now, Harry Benton has since resigned, but Harry Benton was inappropriate with an employee, one of his, underlings. He told her, first of all, the reason I ran for office was to get away from my wife.
Nice.
I don't really find that too egregious, but he went on in February 2023. He said to his employee following dress attire comments, quote, "Make sure you don't forget to wear something underneath that." I mean, it's just inappropriate. There's no touching or anything like that, but just comments that made her feel uncomfortable. So she filed a report. Well, she filled out a report, but she didn't officially turn it in. So this is weird because watching this, he went on with Tamon Bradley on WGN, Marianne Ahern on Channel 5. To me, it felt like they were victimizing the victim all over again.
That formal complaint could have helped bring about a different situation, but we had to respect the wishes of the survivor. Even though she didn't want to go through a formal complaint process, we did do an informal investigation, and we still documented Representative Benton because of the information that was brought forward. And it was that information that we documented that allowed me to move swiftly when things came forward in 2026.
Anybody buying this? 312-642-5600. That is our Alpha Wealth Group call and text line. I mean, he was very serious.
Yeah.
Let's gather around him.
Well, they act like
about
documenting it does something. That you didn't do anything. You documented it. It's absurd to think that somehow stops the problem. Again, and these people covering for each other, it's a story old as time. I mean, that's what they do.
not only covering for each other, but he gave him $1.4 million for his reelection campaign.
Oh, great. Yeah.
So he sent her, besides making these comments over the year, he sent her a picture of an OnlyFans model, he says by accident. And so he was asked about that.
But let me ask you about that, because why did you wait until this February to file the formal complaint? You were aware of what she had enumerated in the email that he had sent her an OnlyFans picture, for example. You knew about all that, right? So why didn't you act until February?
We adhered to her wishes. She did not want to file a formal complaint. Every lawyer and advocate that I talked to say we always follow the wishes of the survivor. That's what we did here, and that was paramount. And the priority was given to the survivor. What we did do was take the documentation that she wanted us to have for the future. We documented it, made it a part of a file, and in 2026, when new allegations came forward, we made those issues from 2023 a part of the complaint that my office filed with the Legislative Inspector General's office.
So since this woman filled out a sheet but didn't officially file it, 2 other women were allegedly harassed.
Well, that's the takeaway
office.
from the whole thing is that they could have prevented this sort of weird behavior, and they didn't. They chose not to. Instead, they documented it. I don't even know what the heck that means.
Well, here's the problem, too, though. Welsh is in a little bit of a sticky wicket himself because this same woman used to intern with him, although he said she was never an intern of mine. She was an intern of the state. Let's let him explain.
First of all, let me say she was never a staffer of mine at any point.
She wasn't an intern?
She was not an intern in my office. She interned for the Paul Simon intern program at the SIU Carbondale, which takes place in the Capitol. But she was never an employee of the Speaker's office. Every year I sit down with those interns in that program and I talk to them and I say, if you ever need advice, please feel free to reach out. And certainly I followed her on social media. She reached out for advice.
Is that fair game, Harch? I mean, a lot of people like people's pictures, but you're the leader and, heart shape. She says it made her feel uncomfortable. Would you say anything to her about that?
Absolutely. I would say the first time that I learned that I made her feel uncomfortable was when I read it in the Chicago Tribune. And I felt terrible. I really did. And honestly, I'm going to own that. I regret it. And I want to apologize to her. I sincerely want to apologize to her because it was never my intent to make her or anyone feel uncomfortable.
I mean, you're a grown man. You're Speaker of the House, the state of Illinois, and you are liking social media posts from women who may or may not have worked for you, but I think she was an intern in Springfield. And these women put pictures of themselves, as young girls, young women do, in bikinis or on the beach, and he emojied.
Yeah.
And then one emoji is drooling.
Oh.
I mean, what does your wife think about that?
Okay, yeah.
312-642-5600.
Yeah.
The drooling one, I mean,
Are you kidding me?
You don't do that.
No.
So what have you learned, Mr. Welch?
I certainly have learned a lot from this situation. Certainly
So
have
we-
changed already my social media behavior because I don't want to make another person feel uncomfortable as I did in this situation. And I'm going to own that.
I mean, they're not even my pictures, and I feel uncomfortable watching them or looking at them.
And he's acting like he, was liking a picture of her dinner picture on social media. No, these are not the pictures you're supposed to be liking, and not a drooly face ever.
Well, speaking of dinner, Jim Uriel, he called her and asked her out to dinner during all of this.
Okay, so
Again,
we know what this is about. Then you know what I mean. He's just
don't be chasing tail.
Right, exactly.
You reportedly wanted to meet her at a bar. What was that all about?
Something very boring. Gibson's in Oak Brook is a place that I have a whole lot of meetings. I meet in the same place. I have the same table, a lot of meetings. And I was offering the young lady who had reached out for advice a place and time to meet in the middle of the day in a place that I meet several people, and the meeting never took place. I know I gave her advice then, and a couple of years later I gave her more advice, but I understand the optics of that. And again, I'm going to apologize for making her feel uncomfortable.
Yeah, you were trying to get with the young girl, and it didn't work out. But there's no doubt, like any idiot can look at this whole fact pattern and know exactly what's happening here. It's where, by the way, I was just at that Oak Brook Gibson's. It's a nice place. But anyway, so I was not meeting any young girls who worked
But as
for me
a
there.
married man with children,
Oh,
because
come on,
he's
yeah.
a married man with children, and he's in a very high position of power, you don't do that.
It's ridiculous. And it's so obvious what's going on, and they made her uncomfortable because they were both figuring she was an easy mark. These guys are just powerful people who want to use that power. We've seen it a million times.
And we're playing this because these people cannot be ridiculed enough. And here's the best.
Yeah.
He throws Governor Pritzker under a bus. Does Governor Pritzker know that he said this comment to Tamon Bradley on WGN?
The governor is someone that I've kept apprised of this situation. I would call and give him updates. I called and let him know that I was going to call for Representative Benton's resignation.
So he was aware of. When did you first start telling him about all this?
I can't remember when, but I do know that I would call the governor and say, Governor, I'm going to call for Representative Benton's resignation. I want to give you a heads up. I don't want you to see it in a press release first. It's just a common courtesy that I like to give the governor. But I will tell you, I have wanted to talk about this from the very beginning.
Just okay.
But I have been
All right,
handcuffed
please.
by confidentiality.
Now I'm a victim because I've been handcuffed by confidentiality.
Yeah, but the one good thing that could possibly come of this, if he does throw Pritzker under the bus and it actually
He just
sticks.
did.
But nothing ever sticks to Pritzker. Like every clown move he's ever done in the time he's been in office, nobody ever seems to care. If you can get something that resonates, perhaps this is it.
312-642-5600 or Alpha Wealth Group. Call and text line. Let's go to Steve in Orland Park. You're on Chicago's Morning Answer. Hi, Steve.
Hi, Amy. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. So I just recently completed, again, my annual State of Illinois sexual harassment training for 3 hours. And I just want to say that, once again, this underscores the complete hypocrisy of our scumbag Democrat representatives in this state. Everything is for thee, but not for me. And I love how they use the term survivor. Look, this isn't a plane crash. In sexual harassment training, it's the oppressor and the oppressed, right? Don't say that. So I think it's very interesting. classic Democrat hypocrisy.
Thank you, Steve, for the phone call. Appreciate it. Yeah, and so here's and now his wag the dog moment. Don't look over here. Look at this shiny bright object. He is promising to work with CTU and CPS to get $150 million that they so desperately need to make payroll in September. And I love Marion Ahern, my girl. She knew. She confronted him. We know exactly what this is.
Why now have you promised the CTU? The timing of promising the CTU, you would consider the $150 million that they're looking for at the time of you're facing your own sort of crisis. It gives the appearance of you support me, I'll support you.
Yeah.
Everything I said to the IFT and to the CTU when I went in for a pre-scheduled meeting with the executive board was I'm promising to do what I've been doing, fighting for school funding, not just for CPS, but for everyone.
Oh.
And the number $150 million never came up with me. I was talking in general that I'm going to go to Springfield and do what I do and lead that fight and fight for more funding for every school district.
So when he says he's going to continue what he's doing, is he also talking about hitting on the young, vulnerable interns too? Because what you're doing isn't working all that great.
Yeah, I think he's going to have to take a break from social media, if you know what I mean.
Yes.
Speaker Welch did tell Marion Ahern that there will not be a special session called on school funding or the Chicago Bears. Forget about them.
Yeah.
Remember, there was supposed to be a special session in the summertime.
not now?
No,
That's
that
great.
went by the wayside too. Let's quickly go to Bob in Edison Park. Good morning, Bob. How are you?
Hey guys, I'm doing good. You know, this is just a pattern of the powerful, the politically connected, using and abusing young girls often, but oftentimes young males too. I mean, and if we're going to point the finger at the Democrats on this one, what about the Trump administration totally stonewalling the Epstein files, which he promised? And this is it goes to Hollywood, it goes to rich corporations. This is a pattern of abuse of young people, and the sexual deviance is ruining. I mean, this is worse than any Islamo terror. What's going on in our own country by our own powerful. Thanks.
Thanks, Bob. Appreciate that. Let's go to George in Naperville. Good morning, George.
Good morning. I think what Welch has learned is that wishing on a star, hoping everything goes away, doesn't work.
Can you elaborate on that?
Well, my point is these guys want to do these little things that they think are going to cover up their you-know-what.
Yeah.
And instead of doing the right thing, they choose to hide.
Yep. It's a good old boys network.
And document.
Yeah, and they don't care about women.
No.
We're just sexual objects to them.
Yeah.
This is the morning show more Chicago radio listeners are choosing. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Looking for a place that feels like home the moment you walk through the door? Then make your way to Shannon's Deli in the heart of downtown Lombard. For more than 25 years, this woman-owned local favorite has been serving up incredible made-to-order sandwiches, homemade soups, crisp salads, and delicious catering that's earned a loyal following throughout DuPage County. Every meal is made with care because at Shannon's, you're not just another customer, you're family. And when the weather's beautiful, grab your lunch or dinner and head upstairs to their rooftop patio. It's the perfect place to relax with friends, enjoy great food, and experience one of downtown Lombard's hidden gems. And Shannon's Deli is just 35 feet from the Metro train station. Plus, when you're ready for dinner, live entertainment, or a classic Irish pub experience, visit their sister restaurant, Shannon's Irish Pub in Glen Ellen, just 2 blocks from the Metro station. Visit shannonsdeli.net and shannonsirishpub.info. That's shannonsdeli.net and shannonsirishpub.info.
The IRS just lost thousands of experienced agents. Unfortunately, your tax debt didn't disappear with them. Right now, the IRS is understaffed and overwhelmed. Now is the time to put your IRS issues behind you. Do you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS? Has the IRS garnished your wages yet? Have they grabbed your bank account yet? They will if you ignore them long enough. This is Patrick Noon with PJN Tax Solutions Group. We are a local tax resolution firm located right here in St. Charles, Illinois. Don't call some 1-800-FIRM 10 states away. We're right here. Listen, this is your window of opportunity. Our tax resolution team knows exactly how to leverage the chaos. But you need to act before the IRS regroups. Call us now. The IRS is in disarray. We are not. 630-415-5296. That number again, 630-415-5296. Or just Google, I want the IRS off my ASS.
Hi, I'm Ken Mariotti, owner of Woodland Windows and Doors, a third-generation family-owned business since 1969. We know you're bombarded by choices when shopping for new windows or doors, so we're inviting you to experience the Woodland difference. For decades, we have been transforming living spaces with Marvin Windows, a fifth-generation family business. Marvin replacement windows have been known to increase the warmth of your cold rooms by 10 degrees. Think about that, 10 degrees warmer. When you welcome Woodland into your home, you will get a product expert to transform your living spaces, full-time, dedicated professional installers that you can trust in your home, along with the best products like Marvin. These are the reasons we're proud of our 5-star reviews and family legacy. No gimmicks, no pressure, and upfront pricing are why Woodland Windows and Doors is your trusted window and door expert in Chicagoland. Visit woodlandwindows.com to book your free in-home expert consultation. That's woodlandwindows.com, or stop by our showroom at the corner of Lake and Geary in Roselle.
Foundations of Freedom, a look at America's founding principles and the leaders who shaped our nation.
In 1796, George Washington made one of the most consequential decisions in American history. He chose not to seek a third term as president. So why does that matter? Because America was not built on permanent rulers. It was built on ordered liberty. Faith teaches that authority is a stewardship, not a possession. Leaders are accountable to God for how they use power. And why does that still matter today? Because republics survive when leaders respect limits and citizens defend them. Washington's lesson still stands. A republic is preserved when power has limits, and public service remains a duty to God and country, not a path to personal rule.
AM 560, The Answer.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, Schlemiel, Schlemazel, Hasenpfeffer Incorporated.
We're gonna do it. All right, welcome back to Chicago's Morning Answer. I'm
We
talking
should have
about
played that right away. That gets you going, doesn't it?
Yes, every day. Jim Urio and I in for Dan Proft. We have a new Laverne and Shirley riding around Chicago, stopping crime. And it is Eileen Burke. You know, she's our Cook County State's attorney. And CTA President Nora Learson. They are trying to stop crime on the CTA with signs.
Oh, that'll work.
7,000 signs.
We are putting up these signs as an indication of what the consequences will be of any criminal actions on the CTA. We're hoping to deter crime and to encourage people to move forward in their witnesses for crime.
These signs are a message to all of our riders and employees that we are working together with the County State's Attorney's Office to take action and ensure and promote a safe ride on the CTA.
So that's going to ensure the safety.
Yes, these new signs are putting up 7,000 signs on buses and trains that highlights the state's attorney's office policy of seeking pretrial detention for violent felonies committed on public transit.
Oh, yeah. Nothing stops a mugger quicker than a strongly worded Post-it note.
You
slapped
take
up.
the train, don't
I
you?
did. My wife, finally, she begged me to stop it because I was harassed literally probably every other day on average for 5 years because I would go take the blue line from Cumberland Inn because it dropped me off right at my office. It's like zombie land at 4:45 in the morning. It's just a moving homeless encampment. I've written about it extensively. I've stepped over, like passed out people who look to be overdosing. The whole thing was a I can't think of any word that I can say on the radio. But Eileen, and by the way, Eileen and I were friends back in college. I don't know if you remember, Eileen, but I knew you hung out with all the Beverly crowd, which I hung out with too. And I remember liking you and thinking you. I get no pleasure in bashing you here, but this is absurd that your step would be to put up a sign instead of actually enforcing laws.
The sign reads, "Violence on the CTA will not be tolerated."
Oh, that's it then. Yeah.
The Cook County State's Attorney's Office will prosecute and seek pretrial detention for all violent offenses on public transit. Oh, did she pretrial pretrial detention.
Yeah.
That's against the Safety Act.
Oh, is it really? Oh,
yeah, I mean, there should be no pretrial
the snake
detention.
is eating itself. Yeah, there should never be that, of course.
It's up to the judge to decide.
Or how about they just didn't let the Blue Line become just this roving crime homeless encampment?
Oh, it's the last time I took the Blue Line was the last time I took the Blue Line.
Yeah.
And I tweeted it out too, a picture of people were sleeping everywhere. It's a moving homeless shelter.
Oh, there's no
But
question
it
about it.
smelled like marijuana.
Yeah.
It smelled like urine.
Oh, they smoke
It was
pot
a
right in front of you, right?
combo.
Yeah. I would have to like air out my jacket when I would get out in the fall, just because it smelled like cigarette smoke and pot.
I mean, she's doing something, but I don't know if this is the answer because
it's
I
not
don't think
the
they're going to stop and before they mug somebody, look up and read that
Oh,
sign. Oh, you
shoot.
know what? I'm having second thoughts.
You remember
Maybe
those things
shouldn't
that say
attack him.
no guns in the public buildings too?
Oh.
And I always in my head, my comedy skit would be the guys coming to rob it, going, "Crap, we can't bring our guns in there. It's against the rules. We're gonna have to rob it another way."
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer, Wisconsin Senator Ron Johnson joins us. We're going to find out whether or not Dr. Fauci could possibly be prosecuted in the future. We'll start there with him. But now let's head into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
Clouds and 70 degrees this morning in the QC Kinetics newsroom. A Senate committee votes today on whether to hold Dr. Anthony Fauci in contempt of Congress. The Senate Homeland Security and Governmental Affairs Committee vote comes after the former White House health advisor invoked the Fifth Amendment more than 100 times in a hearing last week. A drug-resistant superbug fungus now spreading across the U.S., present in 23 states. And despite efforts to contain its spread, the fungus, Candida auris, continues to spread across the nation. Candida auris is a fungus that spreads quickly in hospitals and nursing homes. It is a harmful yeast that can cause serious infection and even death. However, most people without underlying health conditions are not at risk. Illinois has 350 cases. The FAA says President Trump was never in danger in a Tuesday incident involving his helicopter and a commercial jet. Marine One was taking off from the White House Tuesday afternoon. At the same time, an Envoy air flight took off from nearby Reagan National. The aircraft reportedly came within a mile of each other. This morning, some containment finally made in the wildfires burning near Spokane, Washington. And Maryland police are investigating after they say a 13-year-old boy was driving a stolen car with 6 other children inside. That 13-year-old caused a deadly 2-car crash earlier this week. All the children, 12 to 15, were taken to the hospital. The 13-year-old driver remains in critical condition. That deadly 2-car crash killed 2 others who were struck. Reports of prisoner mistreatment, intentionally set fires, and prisoners setting themselves on fire at a Joliet correctional facility are sparking state lawmakers to demand new oversight of state corrections. Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker declined to address the deteriorating conditions at that facility this week.
We have internal auditors who are auditing the way that the correction system operates.
The Joliet Treatment Center is a DOC facility described as a prison for convicted adult male felons with severe mental illness. 2 Illinois men have been arrested and charged after Indiana state troopers found 21 pounds of meth in their vehicle during a traffic stop in Lake County, Indiana. That arrest revealed yesterday was actually made July 31st along I-65. The driver of that vehicle identified as 29-year-old Kennedy Sanchez of Chicago. The passenger, 27-year-old Kevin Sanchez of Romeoville, Illinois. Cubs hold off the Dodgers 7-6 at Wrigley. Pete Crow Armstrong boosting his MVP credentials with a pair of home runs. White Sox lost at Fenway 4-0. They'll try to avoid the sweep this evening in Boston. The news service of the AM 560 Advantage, where membership has its privileges. Join today, 560theanswer.com/join. A check of traffic and weather coming up next on AM 560.
Your home is a valuable asset, and you want to take care of your home. From roofs, siding, windows and doors, to furnaces, flooring, landscaping, and much more. Listen to your go-to for all things home. It's Home Answers Radio with your host, Roger Piper. Get answers from industry experts so you can make informed decisions about home improvement. Listen every Saturday at noon for Home Answers right here on AM 560 The Answer. Sponsored in part by JeffBuysYourHouse.com and by CenterGuard Plumbing.
When your joints hurt every day and you've been told you need surgery, do your homework. Once a joint is replaced, there's no going back. Hey, it's Dan Proft. Before you schedule surgery, get a second opinion from my friends at QC Kinetics. I personally recommend them. Whether you're dealing with pain from bone-on-bone arthritis, torn meniscus, or years of wear and tear, surgery isn't your only conversation. Talk to Dr. Caravelli and her team at QC Kinetics. They use regenerative treatments to deliver relief to patients like you. You'll start with a medical evaluation, reviewing your history, any imaging, and the actual source of pain. If you're a good candidate, they'll concentrate tiny healing tools within your body right in the spot that's causing pain. The whole idea is to give you a real shot at holding off on surgery, or in some cases, avoiding it altogether. Don't accept surgery as your only option. Call QC Kinetics today for a second opinion. The conversation and consultation are free, and weekend appointments are available. Call 312-827-6261. Again, 312-827-6261. Once more, call 312-827-6261.
Hi, it's Amy Jacobson, and last year I hired Level 10 Coatings to give my garage floor a total makeover, and I am loving it. It still looks great, shiny and clean. Level 10 Coatings. Now, you've got to call these guys if your garage floor is cracked, stained, still covered in salt. Don't live like that. Get it done now so you can enjoy it this summer. Level 10 Coatings. They're fast, reliable, and highly professional. Guess what? I went to work. When I came home, it was done. A shiny new gleaming garage floor. A quick, easy fix, and it's guaranteed never to chip or peel. Why? It's not an epoxy job, it's better. Level 10 uses polyurea, which is much better than epoxy. So schedule your free quote today and mention me, Amy, to receive $500 off. Visit level10coatings.com. That's level, the number 10, coatings.com, or call 855-510-2628. Staff are local and ready to answer questions. Level 10 Coatings, your premier concrete coating experts.
Progressive Insurance. Progressive can protect your home, auto, boat, motorcycle, ATV, RV, and more. In short, a lot of things. Bundle today at progressive.com.
Traffic center time. Addison, report of an accident. Fullerton and Collins being swept out of your way. Crest Hill. Good morning, commuters there on Route 53. You've got an accident just north of Caton Farm Road, right near the entrance to the Stateville Correctional Center. Accident cleared on I-88 eastbound at the Myers Toll Plaza. Delays on DuSable Lakeshore Drive. You'll hit the brakes at Bryn Mawr this morning. Stop and go on the Kennedy outbound at Canfield. Traffic, a service of RockAuto.com. Ben Tyrod can quickly bring a drive to a halt. For the parts needed, visit RockAuto.com and find a wide selection of quality parts at reliably low prices delivered right to your door. All the parts your car will ever need at Rock Auto. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. But now a check of your morning forecast in the Air Right Heating and Cooling Weather Center. Cloudy, humid, heavy thunderstorms by the afternoon with a high of 82.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Goldilocks, offering 24/7 security solutions for homes and businesses. Call them today at 708-889-5600.
Now, from The Signature, a division of Esquire Bank Studios. If you're looking for the latest news, insight into what it means, and the sharpest opinion, there's only one station in Chicago where you can turn, and it's this one. We're AM 560, The Answer.
Lies and damn lies, that's what we heard during the COVID era, which still, I feel, is front and center as you walk down the street in Chicago and people are still wearing masks. Yep. Idiots. But here's the thing. We all know that he pled the fifth 111 times during his Senate committee hearing. lied about the origin of COVID, the efficiency of masks, the efficiencies of vaccine, and just seemed to make up that 6-foot rule, which kept businesses closed, schools closed, churches closed, you name it, it was shut down.
6-foot rule, the social distancing, which you said sort of just appeared.
The 6-foot rule, you know, it's almost irrelevant. Almost
irrelevant?
Not to me. Yeah.
You're a business owner, restaurant owner.
Yes, part owner of Branson Palatine with my old friend Walt. And those rules were just so detrimental to family businesses, particularly restaurants, obviously, which are about social gatherings. The fact that they just pulled that out of a hat and said you can't be within 6 feet of each other it's completely
everything was
unforgivable.
Arbitrary.
Of course.
And don't forget, let's scare people and tell them millions and millions of Americans are going to die. Let's lie about the mortality rate, shall we?
The mortality for seasonal flu is 0.1. The mortality for this is about 2.5%.
What?
It's probably lower than that. It's probably closer to 1. But even if it's 1, it's 10 times more lethal than the seasonal flu. You got to make sure that people understand.
So that's the most important thing that he just said there, because the diary, and I want to talk to Ron Johnson about this, the diary said that he knew that was not true when he said it already. Yep. He knew that it was a 0.2% fatality rate. And for him to have policy crafted by him exaggerating it by 5x, that's the part that's really we should focus on, in my opinion.
Well, let's, without further ado, welcome back to the program, Wisconsin Senator Ron Johnson. Good morning, Senator. How are you?
I'm doing well. And by the way, I congratulate you guys for really pointing out, I think the most significant revelation from those diaries was just that. We had, and I was tracking the information from the Oxford Center for Evidence-Based Medicine, I mean, highly respected organization. Very early in the pandemic, they were calculating that the case fatality rate would be about 0.23. And that's what it ended up being long term. I think Johnny Ioannidis actually shows it's going to be less. He did the analysis of the Princess Cruise. And said, if you're elderly, you need to be concerned, certain comorbidities, but for the rest of us. So Anthony Fauci was admitting, and again, I'm not going to downplay a bad flu season, but double that would not justify all the measures, the destruction of people's lives and businesses by shutting down our economy. And I had a number of run-ins with Anthony Fauci during that period. I made the analogy early on saying, listen, we tragically lose tens of thousands of people on the highway a year, but we don't shut down our highways. And so then he was asked at the podium in the White House. He goes, that comment, that's way out. On a conference call in the Senate about that same time period, Dr. Fauci, you're recommending shutting down the economy. Are you contemplating, are you taking into account the human toll, the economic devastation of that recommendation? And he just, very blithely said, Andrew, that's somebody else's department. This is a guy who lied to the American public, used his sainthood, bestowed upon him by the media to destroy people's lives. I mean, let's say destroy people's lives. He funded gain-of-function research. That probably led to the creation of the coronavirus, causing the pandemic. Then he helped sabotage early treatment with cheap generic drugs, pushed a experimental therapy called remdesivir. Nurses call it remdesivir. And then, of course, pushed the experimental gene therapy injection, which we now know within 3 months they were given the safety signals of sudden cardiac death, pulmonary infarction, which he suffered, by the way, and told no one. I could go on and on and on. But Anthony Fauci, his accountability began last Wednesday. Well,
Senator Johnson, we do appreciate that you've been one of Dr. Fauci's most outspoken critics. But I want to talk about ivermectin, because you one time I saw you and I thought, oh my God, his blood pressure is getting higher and higher. You're holding a stack of information that's proved ivermectin could help get over COVID. And this is you from that Senate committee hearing.
You had a interview on CNN on August 29th of 2021, where, again, I just don't want to take time to find the exact quote, but you said there's no evidence that ivermectin is helpful. On that exact same day, and I've got the studies right here. There was a website that was tracking the random controlled studies here they are, showing 60, 70% efficacy of ivermectin. The same day you say there's no evidence, there's all kinds of evidence.
So just respond to that, because he knew it worked, but he hid the truth. Why? Because it would take away from people getting vaccinated?
Yeah, again, he in October 2019 appearance with Rick Bright, who was one of the guys who tanked hydroxychloroquine, by the way, working for the FDA. They were bemoaning the fact that we don't have a universal vaccination program. But, flu season just doesn't do it. People aren't getting the flu vaccine. We need a pandemic. Well, 3 months later, he got his pandemic, and then he was able to push what he always wanted was a universal vaccination program. That's what he was trying to do with AIDS. Again, this guy is a vaccinologist. That's his whole mindset together with Bill Gates. They want vaccines. Don't take a look at any studies that maybe show the danger of messing with the person's immune system. So he knew that if you had an effective treatment for a particular illness like the coronavirus, like COVID, you would not get an emergency use authorization for his experimental genetic therapy, which is what it is. I mean, they changed the definition of a vaccine. This was not a vaccine. It truly was genetic therapy. They pulled tools out of the toolkit from their genetic therapy labs in these companies. And again, the lies told during COVID are just innumerable, and yet the media continues to cover it up. I've got to point out what's frustrating to me is I revealed in an April 29th this year report and a hearing that Peter Marks, the head of FDA's division that approves vaccines and is supposed to surveil for safeties, was warned their algorithm analyzing viruses was going to hide safety signals. FDA officials were shown for months in a row dozens of safety signals, including sudden cardiac death, pulmonary infarction, Bell's palsy, different types of strokes, and they kept it hidden. It's still hidden today. They won't admit it, and not one major news outlet, not one broadcast station, not one major newspaper has covered it as a news story. I've been on shows and I've been interviewed, but it's never been the largest government scandal in my lifetime. The cover-up of the safety signals, the dangers, the people being killed and maimed by that injection hasn't made news.
But
it's unbelievably frustrating to me.
So many people don't realize, and again, I was in legacy media or worked at one of the outlets for 18 years. People don't realize that their advertising budgets were mostly made up for pharma companies to the tune of about 75%. Now, the ivermectin thing, like the response to it when we figured out that it had some efficacy was so coordinated that I immediately took it. I wasn't even particularly scared of COVID, but the second I got COVID, I took ivermectin just because of the coordinated response from these legacy medias who I'd worked for, and I know what their game is and did not trust them at all. But do you think anyone's ever going to be prosecuted for perhaps pushing away the studies in ivermectin that it could possibly have been helpful? Is anyone going to suffer for that, or we just got to forget about it?
I sure hope so. But again, it's pulling information out of HHS is like pulling teeth. Bobby Kennedy is dedicated to radical transparency. He forced the agency to just dump 11 million pages. That's where he came out with that revelation. But we know that Tom Shimabukuro, the head of safety surveillance at CDC, deleted his emails. We also know they went the next step. They deleted those emails off the server, so it may be impossible to recover them. That's a violation of the Federal Records Act from my standpoint. And again, we're just finding this stuff out. I mean, is the FBI going to go in there and investigate that? Are they going to prosecute? Are they going to get forensic scientists computer scientists to recover those emails? So no, I mean, my investigation, quite honestly, has only just begun. Even though I've been doing oversight for over 5 years, I finally got documents. We're finding out all these missing emails. I mean, obviously, there's incriminating things that they were writing to each other. They tried to delete it. That's why they're prosecuting David Morins. It was my staff that found that email that said he's got a FOIA lady that shows you how to make emails disappear. They all knew it. Okay, so no, this has to be investigated. People have to be prosecuted. And again, unfortunately, I'm about the only guy really pushing across all fronts of all the lies told. I appreciate Chairman Paul did. This is extremely important on the COVID origins, gain function. But like nobody else is really looking into, again, just how many people died because they weren't given access to ivermectin, which worked. We're going to hold a public event. The hospital protocols. I mean, I'm getting testimonies. They are just heartbreaking and heart-wrenching of how how people were treated by our medical establishment. It is a
some were held
in and of
kidnapped.
itself.
I mean, they're held
Been reported.
hostage. If you didn't want to do their protocol, if you want to, if you're asking for ivermectin, they wouldn't give it to you because
Right.
the media displayed it as, oh no, that's for horses.
Yeah.
And hospitals wouldn't give it. So the one question that everyone wants to know, is there any hope at all that Dr. Fauci can be charged with a crime in the future?
Yes, because I just met with the Florida Attorney General.
Mm-hmm.
They're looking at different ways of prosecuting. Coach Tuberville will probably be the next governor of Alabama. I think he's stated that he wants to make sure that Fauci's in court for the rest of his life every day. So no, there are people be looking at this. We just got access to a copy of his phone.
Oh,
now, just got that I think yesterday. That's going to take time to download all that information, protect people's personal information, innocent victims. So that's going to take some time to go through that. But I don't know what revelations we're going to find in his text messages and that type of thing on his phone. So stay tuned. But again, my investigation literally has just begun.
So Senator Johnson, one last question from me is that what was his motivation? Was he just a narcissist, self-important, or was there more?
Well, yes. I think every vaccinologist wants to be the next Jonas Salk, right?
Right.
The vaccine that cures all disease.
Yep.
But at the same time, we also know he was money grubbing. I mean, he used government employees to get awards worth over $1 million while millions of people were dying.
Yep.
So I think it's probably both. The money grubbing, whatever he could get. But I think it's mainly he's a megalomaniacal narcissist, and he loved the media attention. He wanted to be known as the father of the vaccine that saves the world.
He's science.
Who knows what happens with this level of narcissism is hard to comprehend.
And who writes a diary? I mean, the man's 80 plus years old. Dear diary. I mean, his entries, he was such a star chaser, and he just loved that. Oh, Julia Roberts, she gets so nervous when she has to speak with me. She has to run to her kitchen and get a glass of water. I mean, how don't you think it's how humiliating?
Yeah, I mean, his accountability started last Wednesday. I've seen some of these internet themes where he's on a bed with little pink slippers writing Dear Diary. That's what he deserves. He deserves that kind of ridicule.
Yeah. All right, well, let's quickly move on before we let you go to your primary, which is next Tuesday, August 11th. And what is going on with Francesca Hong? Is she for sure going to win the Democratic nod for governor?
Sure looks that way. Again, it may help us win elections, but this is a really bad sign that these avowed socialist communists now it's in your face. In the past, I think a lot of Democrats were closet socialists and communists. They just couldn't talk about it because they knew the American public didn't support that. In fact, now that they're out front and in your face about their socialist ideas, first of all, it's an indictment on our legacy media and our education system that we're not educating the public that, okay, this fails. I'm sorry. I understand after, the Great Depression why people look for other economic models, but, every place that's been tried, it's destroyed economies, destroyed nations, produced dictatorial tyrannies that murdered tens of millions of the citizens of the Soviet Union, Venezuela, Cuba. How can this be on the rise? It's not a good sign in America that
Nope.
these people are winning elections.
And I mean, it's scary stuff, but hopefully Tom Tiffany will be able to take her out in the general election in November if she does, in fact, win on Tuesday. So, all right, Senator Ron Johnson from Wisconsin, always a pleasure to have you on. And thank you so much. Honestly, I cannot, on behalf of my children and on behalf of people of the state of Illinois, thank you for holding Fauci's feet to the fire and continuing this
Amen.
This quest. Well, it'll be interesting to see what happens with his cell phone.
Yeah, stay tuned. Have a great day.
All right, you too. Senator Ron Johnson from Wisconsin, and he joined us on our Alpha Wealth Group answer line.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer.
Your show keeps me alive during the week. There's nobody I'd rather listen to between 5 and 9 in the morning than you guys.
On AM 560, The Answer.
Now that summer is here, it's time for some summer home maintenance. Hot water issues? Call CenterGuard Plumbing. Right now, get a new 40-gallon atmospheric vent water heater installed for just $1,295 standard installation, or a 50-gallon for $1,395 standard installation with free haul away of your old tank. A proud sponsor of AM 560, you'll save hundreds, if not thousands of dollars on tankless and atmospheric vent water heaters with CenterGuard Plumbing. Plus, get 10% off any licensed plumbing contractor competitor's price. CenterGuard Plumbing is Chicagoland's same-day water heater experts. Call before noon and they can schedule your repair or install the same day on in-stock water heaters. You're only a text away from install today. Call 847-406-8883. Mention AM 560 to receive summer special pricing. That's 847-406-8883. Call or text 847-406-8883 or visit CenterGuardPlumbing.com.
Are you turning 65 and thinking about Medicare? Or are you over 65 and haven't enrolled yet because you still have coverage at work? Either way, Medicare done correctly will be the best health insurance you will ever have. Imagine having an annual deductible of only $283. There are only two good things about aging, wisdom and Medicare. But to navigate the Medicare maze properly, you need a mentor. Best part? My guidance costs you nothing. Call me. I can help.
If you're tired of calling a bureaucrat at an 800 number to help you navigate Medicare, then you need a local expert on your side, your own health insurance mentor. C. Stephen Tucker from healthinsurancementors.com is someone I know and trust. He's a 30-year licensed broker who's been educating our listeners for more than a decade. Steve, how can our listeners get in touch with you?
Thanks, Dan. They can visit healthinsurancementors.com or call me directly at 630-674-1551. That's 630-674-1551.
I'm attorney Stephen Leahy. If you're a business owner with unfiled tax returns, tax season is not your friend. This is when the IRS turns up the heat. They match 1099s. They review payroll filings. They compare bank deposits. And when returns are missing, they don't send you a warning. They take action. Penalties stack up fast. Liens become public. Bank levies can drain your account. I see it every year. Good business owners who waited too long, not because they're crooks, but because they were overwhelmed. Let me be clear, hiding makes it worse. Action makes it fixable. I help business owners get compliant, file what's missing, and negotiate from a position of strength, not fear. Don't wait for the next certified letter. Don't wait for a levy.
Chemicals like quercetin, luteolin, fisetin, and lactoferrin. Each of them has such great properties in themselves. Together, they synergistically create a really powerful super immune boost. Not only that, Virago includes specialized mitochondrial energy factors like R-alpha-lipoic acid, CoQ10, and resveratrol to give your cells the energy they need to power your immune system. The ultimate immune boost starts with Virago. Discover Virago today. Join me Friday, August 28th at Sean Fest and hear me interviewed by the great Sean Thompson, a true patriot.
Order your bottle of Virago today. Visit myvirago.com. Use the coupon code IMMUNE to save 30%. Maha and Virago, making America healthy again.
Your kitchen's outdated. Your bathroom feels cramped. Every day you wait, prices go up. And you keep living in a space that doesn't work. At Forever Remodeling, one team handles everything. Design, planning, and installation, start to finish. We show you your new space in 3D before we ever break ground. No surprises. With flexible financing options, the home you want is closer than you think. Visit foreverremodeling.com. That's the number 4, everremodeling.com to schedule your personalized in-home design consultation.
AM 560, The Answer.
I get all hot and bothered when we talk about COVID. Anyway, coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer, the fight over women's sports is far from over. Jennifer Say from Say Anything Substack, former Levi's executive, she's going to join us because she was at a rally in Minnesota and some people got in her face. She was celebrating Sophie Cunningham for speaking her truth, but you can only speak your truth if the left, the left likes it. We'll have that. Today, we're going to have clouds giving way to a shower by the afternoon. Humid conditions, a high of 78 degrees. It is 7 a.m. WIND Chicago.
COVID controversy returns to the Senate.
I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. The Senate committee gathers this hour to consider holding Dr. Anthony Fauci in contempt of Congress. A week after the ex-presidential COVID advisor refused to answer questions, saying this over 100 times.
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment to the Constitution.
After Fauci had called the committee chairman unhinged and obsessed with putting him in jail, but Republican Senator Rand Paul tells Fox,
why would you need the Fifth Amendment if all you have to do is come before a committee and not lie?
Fauci was the recipient of a pardon by former President Biden. Republican lawmakers argue that compels him to testify. Republicans accuse Fauci of covering up the origins of the pandemic. Fauci denies that. If the committee approves a contempt resolution, Paul could refer Fauci to the Justice Department for possible prosecution.
That's Fox's Jared Halpern. Iran and Oman are said to be close to an agreement on getting shipping flowing through the Strait of Hormuz. The U.S. demands a tax on ships end. Vice President Vance tells Fox.
Number one, the Iranians are extraordinarily difficult people. Number two, they have a fractured system. So there are people within their system who want the war to be over. There are also people within their system who are crazy radicals who want the war to continue.
Vance has been directly involved in negotiations, also demanding Iran agree to never have nuclear weapons. Another American adversary already has them, North Korea. And Fox's Jonathan Savage reports it test-fired another missile today.
South Korea's military says its northern neighbour launched a short-range ballistic missile out to sea beyond its east coast. The South's Joint Chiefs of Staff has bolstered surveillance and is closely coordinating with the United States and Japan.
Also in Japan today, a somber ceremony in Hiroshima, where yet 81 years ago today, the U.S. dropped the first of 2 atomic bombs on Japan, leading to the end of World War II. America's listening to Fox News. 70 degrees, cloudy and humid this morning. I'm Mike Scott in the QC Kinetics newsroom. The family of a woman killed in a Fox River boat crash has filed a wrongful death lawsuit. Magdalena Jablonska was a U.S. Marine veteran. Her fiancé survived the boat collision and is recovering. He is expected to speak this morning as the family confirms they have filed that wrongful death suit. Richard Stevenson is charged in that crash, accused of having a blood alcohol level more than twice the legal limit. Illinois House Speaker Chris Welch publicly acknowledged missteps in his handling of sexual harassment allegations against former state representative Democrat Harry Benton, saying he didn't do enough to protect women.
The first time that I learned that I made her feel uncomfortable was when I read it in the Chicago Tribune, and I felt terrible. I really did. And honestly, I'm going to own that. I regret it.
Welch apologized to a sexual harassment victim of former state representative Benton, who says Welch made her feel uncomfortable. And Welch is now calling for central human resource offices and for the legislature so that staff employees of lawmakers can take complaints to someone other than House leadership. With an emergency order yesterday, Indiana Governor Mike Braun extended the gas tax holiday for his state through September 5th.
These disruptions have created new pressures on fuel prices that are driving the price of gas for Hoosiers to unnatural levels outside the norm of standard economic conditions.
On Thursday, gas prices were expected to surge up 60 cents. However, since May, the governor has kept prices lower than most Midwest states by suspending both the gas excise tax and the gas usage tax. Portillo's is laying off a large portion of their employees at its corporate headquarters in the western suburbs. The restaurant chain saying 18% of staff at their Oak Brook offices are now gone. Bears have a key defender back on the training camp field. Linebacker T.J. Edwards activated from the non-football injury list. Cubs hold off the Dodgers 7-6 at Wrigley. Cubs get the sweep and host Toronto this afternoon. White Sox look to get back at it this evening in Boston after losing last night 4-0. Traffic and weather coming up next on AM 560.
Your home is a valuable asset, and you want to take care of your home. From roofs, siding, windows and doors to furnaces, flooring, landscaping, and much more. Listen to your go-to for all things home. It's Home Answers Radio with your host, Roger Piper. Get answers from industry experts so you can make informed decisions about home improvement. Listen every Saturday at noon for Home Answers right here on AM 560 The Answer. Sponsored in part by Access Home and Vehicle Mobility Solutions and by Steiner Homes.
Foundations of Freedom, a look at America's founding principles and the leaders who shaped our nation.
In 1796, George Washington made one of the most consequential decisions in American history. He chose not to seek a third term as president. So why does that matter? Because America was not built on permanent rulers. It was built on ordered liberty. Faith teaches that authority is a stewardship, not a possession. Leaders are accountable to God for how they use power. And why does that still matter today? Because republics survive when leaders respect limits and citizens defend them. Washington's lesson still stands. A republic is preserved when power has limits, and public service remains a duty to God and country, not a path to personal rule.
Insurance came out about the roof, offered us $15,000. I was thrilled.
I know it seems like a lot, but I'm not sure that number is that generous. Insurance is usually going to lowball you.
I mean, I already found 2 companies who could replace it for that.
Sure, contractors will make it fit that budget, but they're cutting corners to make it work.
How's that?
Cheap materials, lower grade shingles with a poor warranty, reusing old flashing, cheap underlayment.
How would I even know?
You wouldn't. That's exactly why I'd call New Edge Improvement. They'll go through your insurance quote line by line, catch what's being cut, and fight to get you covered. You have a beautiful home, and New Edge Improvement will do a quality install and help you get the roof you're owed. One that matches the quality of what you had.
Thanks. I'll give New Edge Improvement a call.
New Edge Improvement. Visit them today at newedgeimprovement.com. Again, that's newedgeimprovement.com and tell them AM 560 sent you.
Team Hochberg Traffic Center time, a service of the AM 560 store. T-shirts, hoodies, and more from your favorite AM 560 brands when you go to 560theanswer.com/store. Indiana Toll Road remains shut down on the eastbound side between the Portage Interchange and State Road 49. We got solid traffic all the way from I-94 onto the Indiana Toll Road this morning, all due to an earlier accident. Route 53, roadwork stop and go between the Ike and Kirchhoff this morning. Delays stacking up on the Ike inbound between Cicero and Des Plaines Avenue. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Now a check of the morning forecast in the Air Right Heating and Cooling Weather Center with Jason Caterina.
Today, expect clouds to gradually clear, making way for some sunshine with a passing shower. It'll be humid with the high of 78. Tonight, there is a chance of a thunderstorm in the evening. Otherwise, skies will be clear to partly cloudy, remaining humid with a low of 67. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com. Now, from The Signature, a division of Esquire Bank Studios. This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft on AM 560. The Answer.
Welcome back to Chicago's Morning Answer. Amy Jacobson here, Jim Urio, both in for Dan Proft. Because it takes two men to do this job. Yes. Thank you so much for joining us.
Pleasure's
and
mine.
I'm being very formal.
It's very much fun. Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You're a basketball coach.
I am.
Girls basketball coach.
Yeah.
I shot the
Have been
rock
for
back in
15
the
years.
day.
Did you really? Yeah.
At Hersey High School.
Nice. Yeah.
Scored 34 points my senior year.
That's fantastic.
No, but I didn't start. I was not a starter.
How'd you come off the bench and score 34? Who were you playing?
No, not during one game. I'm talking the entire season.
The entire season.
Thanks, Jim.
Okay, for bringing that up.
Appreciate you.
Okay, it's better than no points. Okay.
So
moving right
Caitlin
along.
Clark, we've all seen her get poked in the eye, thrown to the ground, choked. And when the WNBA All-Star Game was here in Chicago, NBC Nightly News did a piece. It's Caitlin's.
Of course it is.
It's Caitlin's fault, Jim.
Sure it is.
Not the other players.
After controversies on and off the court, WNBA star Caitlin Clark now speaking out.
There's obviously a lot of people that like to comment on my character and think that they know me.
The Indiana Fever guard facing criticism for her fouls and aggressive play, now leaving her one incident away from a single-game suspension.
That intensity and that fire is what makes me me.
Fever coach Stephanie White.
She knows. She has awareness.
But Clark was the subject of recent headlines last month when Phoenix Mercury player Alyssa Thomas received a one-game penalty and fine for appearing to put her fist over Clark's throat after she fell to the floor. The flagrant foul imposed after the game following a review by the league. Thomas getting death threats in the aftermath, Clark condemning the calls for violence.
It should have been dealt with in the moment.
And after a recent USA Today opinion piece described Clark's behavior on the court when fouls aren't called on her opponents as histrionics and a sign of her flopping, Clark fighting back.
I think there's just like a false characterization of who I am.
And hearing these encouraging words from a famous fan during the WNBA All-Star Weekend practice in
Obama
Chicago.
was there because he let them practice at the Obama Presidential Center. And he was so demeaning. Like, I hate when men say, hey, you got a nice little game there. Or you got a nice swing there, honey. Stop it.
Oh, hey, Caitlin, how are you? Really nice to meet you. You're great. You're fantastic.
Thank you.
Don't let all this nonsense get you down. Yeah, you know, I always say one of the things that was luckiest for me was I didn't get famous till I was like 45. So I was an old man. I mean, you're my daughter's age. They're not to have that much, you know, burden and nonsense. So don't lose that joy. The game's like the game. And you're a hooper. And you hoop.
I try sometimes.
You know, no, you always hoop. And you're on a nice little run right now.
You're on a nice little run. Condescending, egotistic, male chauvinist.
Yeah. No, by the way, I think there's some growth from the far left is that they're blaming Caitlin Clark. Normally, the knee-jerk is just to blame Trump. I don't think they could figure out how to blame him for this. But
it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
With more on this, let's welcome back to the program Jennifer Say from the Say Anything Substack, which is a must-read. Former Levi's exec, Olympic gymnast, and she made news recently in Minnesota outside a WNBA game. Good morning, Jennifer. How are you?
Hi, good morning, everyone. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so what's your reaction to that, how the mainstream media is painting it that it's Caitlin Clark's fault?
Everything happening in this league right now is so stupid between, blaming her. I mean, it's like complete business malpractice. They have this star in Caitlin Clark that they refuse to lead with in marketing. She's not on any of the Fever marketing materials. She's not on the WNBA marketing materials. They have this golden goose. People are coming to games just for her, and they refuse to capitalize on that. A league that has lost money, done nothing but lose money since its inception. And I will tell you, I was at the game this past Saturday in Minneapolis. It was packed, and apparently, from what I understand, any game that Caitlin is playing in is packed. I mean, it was crazy in there. The stadium was so full. There were so many Fever fans in Minneapolis, so many Fever fans. I was seated next to, on either side, Fever fans. But beyond the Caitlin malpractice, what's going on with Sophie Cunningham is also crazy. And, she's a star in the WNBA, not necessarily because of her play, but because now what she's saying. And she's like a social media star. She's a great personality. She has so much fun out there. She's a great three-point shooter. But it's kind of the whole package with Sophie, like her whole personality. She's not. She's bench. She goes in second, but she's amazing and she's so fun to watch. She just has a great time out there. And as everybody at this point knows, she said something in an ESPN interview basically very straightforward, just saying, I think girls deserve their own sports and spaces. Now, it's important to note, she said this in February. The interview was in February. It just published about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. She was answering a question. She didn't make a decision to kind of take a stand. You know, they're all calling her MAGA Barbie and all this. She just answered the question asked to her, you know. But the real, I think, remarkable thing happened the next day after the interview published, when she was challenged by the New York Times Athletic about what she said, and she just said very simply, I said what I said. So she didn't take it back. She didn't walk it back. She's standing firm. And the league, I mean, she's just getting attacked from every angle. The league won't stand with her. Her teammates won't support her. Coaches from the other team are wearing shirts that are clearly meant to be a diss. She gets booed every time she's out on the court, but she's standing strong.
Yeah, what
So I don't
T-shirt
think
did
she's
the
gonna back
Minneapolis
down.
coach have on? Trans kids matter?
Trans kids belong.
Trans kids belong. Yeah, which my understanding is she would have had to get approved through the WNBA to wear. So she was either asked to do it or she got approved to do it. And, you know, in the stadium, I was there in the arena, and there were a lot of people wearing shirts like that. But there were a lot of people wearing our shirts, too, from XXXY. And the way the broadcast was constructed, they only showed, you would have thought every single person in the crowd was wearing Trans Kids Belong shirt. Like, they want you to think that's the dominant opinion, and it's not. There were so many people in our tees. There were so many people cheering for Sophie with Sophie signs, but they don't want you to know that. So, you know, they're trying to continue to manufacture this consensus around, you know, this trans ideology, but it's not working anymore because people aren't afraid anymore to speak up.
Jennifer, like, to me, there's something, I don't know, do you remember me? I interviewed on my show about 2 years ago.
Do you remember me? We went to prom together.
We went to prom together. No, right? Yes. No, I just like to know if I make an impression.
It was great.
Oh, you're the best.
I loved prom.
You're the best. But anyway, so this to me seems like one of the biggest psyops, because the WNBA currently does not have any biological men playing in their league, and based on what I read, you know, has some, you know, huge hoops to jump through and hurdles to climb for that to ever happen. For them to be publicly saying how much they support this and how anyone goes against it is evil. Like, isn't it a put up or shut up moment? Isn't it time for them to start opening their doors?
To men? Well, first of all, I don't know that we know there's no men playing in the league. There's no trans, quote unquote, trans women, but I think there have been questions about whether or not there are men in the league, males in the league. We don't know. They need to test. They don't test. And the fact is you build a boundary, you put up boundaries, you put up a wall, you make rules. You don't have to wait till it happens. Right? You don't have to wait till there's a huge problem. In the French league right now, there are men playing in the women's league, and they're top scorers. I know that is true. We wouldn't wait for there to be an explode. Well, we might actually, given the Lance Armstrong situation. But ideally, you have drug testing before every single woman in the league is, you know, using performance-enhancing drugs. Like, this whole idea that there aren't any, so it's not a problem, which I know isn't what you're saying. You're saying the league should put up or shut up, which brings me to Clay Travis, which I'm sure you guys have seen, which he's been posting and kind of trolling, but I think it's hilarious. He said, I will back a Nashville franchise, a team that's all trans women and all trans coaches, and it'll be the most inclusive team in the league. And if you don't like it, you're a bigot and a transphobe. And he's putting $10 million forward.
Can we say what he wants to name the team, or is that bad for radio?
I think we can.
I think it's One Love, Two Balls is the name of the team.
Well, it's just the Balls, the Nashville Balls.
Okay, right.
The Balls. Okay.
Yeah, well, because of the basketballs.
Exactly.
Right, of course.
Would be
but Jennifer,
hysterical.
like, I want yeah, you go.
It's funny. No, I think it's hilarious. I mean, he's obviously doing it to prove a point, but I think he proves it.
Yeah. No doubt about it. So am I weird in thinking I want them to start loudly opening the door to, like, there's a person in France who, okay, good. So, because if they want to burn their whole system down, let them burn it down. Nobody's going to watch. I'm
with you.
Okay, good. I just want to make sure.
I'm totally with you. Just do it. I mean, that's kind of what Clay is saying, right?
Yeah,
like,
do it.
Do it. Yeah. But I think, like, in France, for instance, I've been reading about this person whose name I can't remember off the top of my head.
Tartar or something
Julie
like that.
Tartar.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so this is a guy, he's 34. He never played before. Like, he just enters the Women's Pro League. And, of course, people are saying, yeah, well, he's not even that good. He's in the second-tier league. Okay, he got the most points of any player last year, did not get the MVP because I think on some level, he had the most points and the most rebounds. I think on some level, the league knows the optics of giving him MVP are terrible, right? I mean, and they're not putting him in the first-tier league, even though he's the best player, most points. So they sort of know, but they won't draw a line. I mean, it's just crazy. Like, I don't know if you saw the Coco Gauff interview from yesterday, the tennis player.
Sure.
So the WTA, the Women's Tennis Association, did just draw a boundary, and they said, we're going to test for sex, which is great. And it came kind of out of nowhere. No one was like lobbying them or pushing them. They just did it. We were all very surprised. And Aryna Sabalenka said recently in an interview before a big tournament, like, I support this. Men are stronger. This is great. Very clear. Thank you, Sabalenka. She's the number one player in the world. Coco Gauff, however, is trying to kind of like straddle, right? And she's like, well, I think we need fairness, but I support trans. And it's like, you got to pick.
Yeah.
You have to pick one. You got to pick one. And if it's not anti-trans, it's pro-woman, just say it. You don't want men in the league. You don't want men playing women's tennis, but she won't say it because she's still afraid and she's still super woke. So that's kind of like, I think what the league is doing with this. It's like they don't want to say no, they don't want to seem like bigots, but they also don't want to elevate this person in France because the optics are terrible. He's crushing it. He's crushing all the women. He's not even a player. It's just like some dude who decided to, transition and become a women's basketball player. It's so awful. That's male advantage. He can just go and be a pro and kick everyone's butt.
He's averaging 20 rebounds a game. And I watch his game he literally couldn't play with us in the men's league. Yeah. But he does not have skills and could not play with us in men's leagues normal dude men's leagues. He can?
And he can dunk.
Nice.
Yeah, he dunks. And you realize there's only ever been in the WNBA like 9 players that could dunk and only 6 in a game. They can't dunk.
Yeah.
They can't do it. They're not big enough. The hand isn't big, like all of it. And he just walks around dunking on the court because he's a man.
Let's talk about Sophie Cunningham because I saw that you took a picture with her after the game. Did you guys talk about this issue and how she is, lit the fuse?
We talked very briefly. She talked, mostly with Riley, but we did talk some. It was quick, 10 minutes. The first thing that struck me is there were so many little girls waiting there to get her autograph and get a photo. And she took a picture with every single one. She's so sweet. And so again, the way ESPN constructed the broadcast to make it look like everybody hates her, that was not what was being experienced on the ground. These girls, there was no one else these girls were waiting for a picture with. She mostly just said she seemed undaunted. She seemed to be standing strong and unfazed by the criticism, and she seemed to be aware that there was a lot of support for her in the world. She was aware that the league was not being supportive, but she, in a brief 10-minute conversation, she seemed, to be standing tall.
Good. And I saw that you're with U.S. Senate candidate Michelle Tafoya, which programming note she will join us at 8 o'clock this morning, that you were all outside with your XXXY garb on, and you had this man in your face.
Yeah.
You're not one man. Protect trans women. Protect trans women.
Okay, you're not playing the worst part, and I'm not going to say this on the radio.
Yeah, we can't.
Because it's so gross.
Gross.
He was there before us. Mm-hmm. He's a paid agitator. He's been at other protests. I don't know who would pay this guy to represent them. Like, all he does is make people not want to associate with that side. He was screaming. We had balloons and cookies and T-shirts that we were handing out. We were taking pictures with the Sophie life-size cutout. We were just a fan zone, right, celebrating. We wanted to know she's not alone, even though, the league isn't standing with her. This guy, and he had 3 other people with him. There were only 4 of them. They had these megaphones. They literally would put it right up to our ears and scream in our ears. He had a fan that he would hold over women's head that had the C word on it. Yeah. He would scream the C word in our faces, dirty C word, dirty B word. This is the civil rights movement of our time, one that silences women and calls them disgusting names. He had no argument. Like, we were just there to celebrate. We were having conversations. People were doing little interviews, on their phone. And they had no argument. They just were screaming expletives at us. I mean, it's gross. It's an anti-woman, misogynistic, horrible movement. This man was screaming in our faces and shouting us down. We were very determined to stay peaceful because we were there to have fun and be thankful for Sophie. It was hard with him because he was provoking us to do something.
And did they make you take down your signs, your pro Sophie Cunningham signs inside?
Inside, yeah. I was sitting with Riley Gaines, on the floor, basically, like on the third row on the court. And she had a sign that literally just said, "Thank you, Sophie," with hearts on it. And at halftime, a security guy told her she couldn't have that sign. We followed all the instructions. Like, I read the there's rules about the signs, how big, and we followed the instructions because we didn't want anything like that to happen. And he said, you can't have signs with someone's name on them, which is a lie. That wasn't in the rules. And there were lots of other signs with other names, but he didn't want that name, the name Sophie. And I doubt that guard acted on his own. I'm sure either, the team management told him, he's just a guy, right? But there was definitely a coordinated effort to make it seem like she has no support, if that makes sense.
Right. Sure. Well, I just wish Caitlin Clark would come out and, defend Sophie Cunningham with moral clarity. But I know she's only 23 years old. There's a lot coming her way. It's a lot to process, but yeah, I don't blame her either. It's just, that's the way that's going to go for the time being.
You know what, though? I feel like, here's a journalist are challenging her. She says, I just want to play ball, which is totally fair. She didn't take the other side. She said, I just want to play ball. She's not wrong when she says the league leaders need to deal with this. Challenge the commissioner, challenge the coaches. She's right. The management needs to deal with it. And how about challenging all the players who are, aggressively taunting Sophie, who are, posing for pictures, like Brianna Turner, who I just realized has blocked me on social media.
Congratulations.
The ones who are wearing the trans kids' belong shirts, challenge them. Let Caitlin play. Leave her alone. She already gets beat up enough on the field, on the court.
All right, Jennifer Say, we're going to have to leave it there. Jennifer Say from the Say, S-E-Y, Say Anything Substack. I see what you did there. Former exec at Levi's, former Olympic gymnast, and now President, CEO of XXXY clothing line. Real quick, any new items you want to plug?
Well, you got to get the logo tee. That's the hot item right now because of the two girls who were wearing it at the Storm game who got berated by the co-owner of the team. That's the item that's flying out the door. So if you want the logo tee in black and green, it's like the marker of this movement. You better get it because they're selling fast.
All right. Thank you so much, Jennifer Say. Always a pleasure, and God bless you.
Thanks, Jennifer.
Thank you, guys. Bye.
And she joined us on the Alpha Wealth Group answer line.
Before you see it on TV, share it on Facebook, or read about it in the paper, hear it here first. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Foundations of Freedom, a look at America's founding principles and the leaders who shaped our nation.
In 1796, George Washington made one of the most consequential decisions in American history. He chose not to seek a third term as president. So why does that matter? Because America was not built on permanent rulers. It was built on ordered liberty. Faith teaches that authority is a stewardship, not a possession. Leaders are accountable to God for how they use power. And why does that still matter today? Because republics survive when leaders respect limits and citizens defend them. Washington's lesson still stands. A republic is preserved when power has limits, and public service remains a duty to God and country, not a path to personal rule.
This is Seth Leibson for townhall.com. With Abdul El-Sayed's victory in Michigan, the Democratic Party has gone from Barack Obama denouncing those who said America deserved 9/11 to campaigning with those who say just that, like Hassan Piker, the left's most famous podcaster. As the political philosopher Jerry Garcia wrote, "What a long, strange trip it's been." El Sayed is the latest success endorsed and campaigned for by the Marxist-Islamist axis of the Democratic Socialists of America. This juggernaut is proving unstoppable and taking over the Democratic Party. A generation ago, a real political philosopher, Harry Jaffa, pointed out that with the fall of the Berlin Wall, utopian communism would no longer be seen as simply a threat from abroad, but a more deadly and dangerous phase here at home could follow. Quite right. A wall can stop people, but not their ideas. That enemy is here and potent. The two-party system is now looking Republican on one hand and Marxist-Islamist on the other. We cannot simply wish this away or ignore it. I'm Seth Leibson.
If you owe the IRS back taxes, you need the best team on your side. Priority Tax Relief has helped thousands of Americans resolve their IRS problems and settle for pennies on the dollar. As a leading tax resolution firm, we have an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau, hundreds of 5-star reviews, and a 4.9-star rating on Google because we deliver results and huge savings. If you owe $5,000 or more and even facing wage garnishment, liens, levies, audits, or IRS letters, call us today at 800-741-5015. Once you call, our tax professionals will call the IRS with you for free, and within minutes start negotiating a settlement. We'll put a stop to collections and fight to get you the best settlement possible. Choose the company Americans trust most. Call Priority Tax Relief now at 800-741-5015 to see what relief you qualify for. Don't wait. Make the call. Dial 800-741-5015. Once again, that's 800-741-5015.
Your home or business has storm damage and you have an insurance claim.
Call Crosscom.
Crosscom Construction and Public Adjusters. Today, insurance companies are notorious for offering way too little money to repair damage to your home or commercial building due to wind, hail, tornado, floods, or fire. Crosscom works for you, not the insurance company. As licensed adjusters, Crosscom will work to get you the money you deserve, the maximum payout.
Call Crosscom.
630-871-5500. After they get you the fair insurance company result, Crosscom can start doing your repairs. Crosscom is a full construction and restoration company that will get your property back to its pre-loss condition, getting your life back to normal. Roof, siding, windows, doors, fire restoration, Crosscom does it all.
Call Crosscom.
Licensed in Chicagoland, Northwest Indiana, and Wisconsin.
This is Dan Lights with Crosscom. We share your conservative and Christian values. Let us handle everything. It all starts with a call.
630-871-5500. CrosscomPublicAdjusters.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
All right, now, Senator Rand Paul and Senator Ron Johnson, who was on this program earlier, they're speaking right now, and they're going to vote on contempt vote for Dr. Fauci. So we're going to keep an eye on that, definitely. All right, coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer, there are 11 Republicans vying for that open congressional seat in Dan Proft's district in Florida.
Oh, nice.
We'll speak to one man who wants to be the next congressman, and he's an author, the J6 book. But now let's head into that newsroom. Here is the one and only Mike Scott.
Clouds, humid 71 in the QC Kinetics newsroom. An apology and a sidestep from Illinois House Speaker Chris Welch, who publicly acknowledged missteps in the handling of sexual harassment allegations against former state representative, Democrat Harry Benton of Plainfield, saying he didn't do enough to protect women, called the episode a systemic failure that demands reform.
This was a system failure, and we have to focus on how do we fix the system failures.
Welch also apologized to a sexual harassment victim of the former state rep who says Welch made her feel uncomfortable.
The first time that I learned that I made her feel uncomfortable was when I read it in the Chicago Tribune, and I felt terrible. I really did. And honestly, I'm going to own that. I regret it.
Dr. Anthony Fauci facing a double-edged legal threat today. The Senate Homeland Security Committee meeting to vote on holding the former COVID czar in contempt of Congress after pleading the Fifth 111 times last week. Also today, Florida Attorney General James Utmeyer is announcing that he's slapping Fauci with an investigative subpoena.
We're really focused in on his self-dealing. Evidence has come to light that he was trying to personally profit off of this. This is outside of his government duties, his official role. He's trying to pursue book deals, awards, get connected with high rollers.
Hootmeyer says Florida is probing potential civil fraud and deceptive trade practices. Some containment finally made in the wildfires burning in Spokane, Washington. Officials say they reached between 5 and 13% containment in those 3 fires. Local businessman and political gadfly Willie Wilson will make another run for mayor of Chicago. The 78-year-old has made 3 attempts for the 5th floor office. The formal announcement is scheduled for Monday. And 2 charged in the death of a Plainfield man found dismembered in Lake Mattoon, pleading not guilty. Robin Turner and James Adams entered those not guilty pleas in a Will County court. Both face charges of first-degree murder and dismemberment in a homicidal death. The remains of Dale Wayne Turner were discovered in that lake June 28th. White Sox first baseman Munetaka Murakami is working with White Sox charities this morning to hold an auction to support his hometown of Kumamoto, Japan, after it was hit by a devastating earthquake last week. White Sox Senior Director of Community Relations Sarah Laporta says you can participate in the auction. Just go search for White Sox charities and you'll find more information. Bears have a key defender back on the field at training camp. TJ Edwards back on the field, activated from the non-football injury list. Pete Crow Armstrong have a night. 2 home runs in the Cubs win over the Dodgers, 7-6. White Sox lost at Fenway 4-0. They'll try and avoid the sweep later this evening. The News Service of Salem Surround, a local digital marketing agency providing high-performing digital solutions. Go to surroundchicago.com today. A check of traffic and weather coming up next on AM 560.
Your home is a valuable asset, and you want to take care of your home. From roofs, siding, windows and doors to furnaces, flooring, landscaping, and much more. Listen to your go-to for all things home. It's Home Answers Radio with your host, Roger Piper. Get answers from industry experts so you can make informed decisions about home improvement. Listen every Saturday at noon for Home Answers right here on AM 560 The Answer. Sponsored in part by Level 10 Coatings and by American Beam and Steel.
If moving safely around your home is a concern, you deserve clear answers, not a sales pitch. Access will help you improve home accessibility with practical solutions like lifts, grab bars, and home modifications, designed to fit your home, your needs, and budget. Experienced professionals will take the time to explain your options so you can make an informed decision. If staying safe and comfortable in your home matters to you, start with a free in-home consultation. Call Access at 630-616-6249 or visit allaboutaccess.com.
Each morning, the newsmakers and the newsbreakers shaping today's conversation are heard on the AlphaWealthGroup.com answer line on Chicago's Morning Answer. When you need answers about what's happening in your world, you turn to AM 560 The Answer. And when you need answers about how to prepare for and protect your retirement, you turn to the Alpha Wealth Group, now the proud sponsor of the AM 560 Answer line, right here on Chicago's source for news, opinion, and insight. AM 560 The Answer.
The TV tide is turning, and millions of Americans are tuning to Salem News Channel. For breaking news, common sense analysis, and the conservative voices leading the conversation, SNC delivers the stories that matter most. Watch Scott Jennings, Larry Elder, Mike Gallagher, and many others tackling the issues facing our nation. Stream free on Pluto TV, Samsung TV, the Roku channel, and more. Salem News Channel. The news you want, the perspective you trust.
Your kitchen's outdated. Your bathroom feels cramped. Every day you wait, prices go up. And you keep living in a space that doesn't work. At Forever Remodeling, one team handles everything. Design, planning, and installation, start to finish. We show you your new space in 3D before we ever break ground. No surprises. With flexible financing options, the home you want is closer than you think. Visit foreverremodeling.com. That's the number 4, everremodeling.com to schedule your personalized in-home design consultation.
Sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Protect your family, your phone, and your furry friends with life, electronic device, and pet health insurance.
7:39. Team Hochberg Traffic Center time, a service of Blindster.com. Addison this morning, commuters there at Roll Wing and Lake. You've got an accident being swept out of your way. Roadwork delays southbound on 53 between Palatine Road and Algonquin Road. Dan Ryan this morning slows up inbound 79th up to 71st, and a jam on the Ike Cicero to 25th on the outbound side. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Now a check of your forecast in the Air Right Heating and Cooling Weather Center. Cloudy and humid, heavy thunderstorms could hit by later in the afternoon, and a high near 82.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Goldilocks, offering 24/7 security solutions for homes and businesses. Call them today at 708-889-5600.
Now, from The Signature, a division of Esquire Bank Studios. Seanfest returns on August 28th at the Westin Chicago Northwest in Itasca. Registration is free. Go to 560theanswer.com/SHAUN Fest.
Welcome back to Chicago's Morning Answer. Amy Jacobson, Jim Urio. We're both in for Dan Proft, who will be returning tomorrow. And a program note, today at 11:35 on The Real Story, Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to noon, we're going to have Maria Pappas join us. I love when Democrats come on the show. And she wants to be your next mayor. I call it the Battle of the Greeks. Who's going to get the Greek vote? It's very important in Chicago.
Splitting the Greek vote would be bad. Yeah, right. So I met Maria a couple weeks ago at a Greek fest in Palatine.
She was at a Greek fest.
She was on the stage singing Greek songs, by the way. So bring that up to her, please. And she wasn't bad.
Really? Well, she's a professional concert pianist. She's an engineer. She's brilliant.
Is she?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
And she speaks fluent Greek, so.
Well, yeah, she was definitely playing up to the Greeks and singing Greek music.
All right. Well, I'll have to ask her about that when she joins us again at 11:35, and because she's holding Alexei Giannoulis's feet to the fire. She's not going to let him get away with anything.
I love it. I love that.
Yep.
Yep.
All right, speaking of politics, in Florida, we have a primary August 18th, and there are 11 Republicans running for the open seat, which is being left vacant by Byron Donalds, who's going to be running for governor.
Right. So let's bring on one of them. That's the 19th district in Florida. I believe it's Dan Proft's district.
It is.
And Bob Biacchino, who's my partner on Future's Edge, his district as well. So let's bring in the author of A Patriot's Plea, someone who has an amazing story to tell and is running for that seat. Let's bring in John Strand. John, how are you?
Good morning, Amy and Jim. I'm doing great, and there are at least 10 or 11 Republicans running in that district, but only one of them qualified with voter signatures. Every other candidate bought their way onto the ballot, and yes, you have the distinct, amazing, exciting time this morning to have that one person on with you. Thank you for having me on.
But are there numbers coming out, like polling? Are you the favorite?
You know, this is what I have discovered about this district and about this race. It is quite wild and extraordinary. As you mentioned, Byron Donalds, a superstar in the MAGA movement, endorsed by President Trump to run for governor. Him leaving the seat open has a power vacuum that has been filled by very wealthy rhino rejects, as I call them, and that has made the race difficult to analyze. However, the polling data that we have seen clearly shows about half respondents undecided up until the last couple of weeks, and they certainly know who the front runners are because they have dumped, I think, 10 or 15 million, maybe $20 million into this race among the 3 or 4 wealthiest rhinos. So the name ID is very high. The enthusiasm for those folks is very low. So I think we have the ceiling to rise at this last moment and win the race. We are the exciting outsider candidate that the district is hungry for, bringing a platform of constitutional governance, returning the government to fit back inside the Constitution, locking down our borders, securing our sovereignty, accelerating mass deportations, which will incredibly lower the cost of living for real American families. So they're ready for it. We're excited.
I love it. Okay, so we have to go take a step back and why you're here, what triggered and activated you, and the story you told on my show, The Future's Edge, about the day of January 6th. In what year was that, 2001?
Yep, and you spent 4 months in jail.
4 months in prison. Can you walk us through kind of briefly what really irritated you about the entire episode?
Absolutely. And the story starts even earlier than that, right? So a lot of us were doing our own American dream, whatever that is in our lives. I was living as an actor and writer actually in Los Angeles, California. I was born there because my dad served in the U.S. Navy. But COVID came crashing down around all of us in 2020, and I recognized it immediately for the fraudulent scheme that it was. I'm talking January 2020. I started a freedom rally in the streets of L.A., of all places, which grew vibrant, drawing tens of thousands to support President Trump and push back against lockdowns. That led me to become the creative director of America's Frontline Doctors, which also includes Dr. Joseph Ladapo, the current Surgeon General with Governor DeSantis in Florida. But because of that work, I was traveling the country speaking. I was involved in a speech at January 6th in D.C., got wrapped up in the crowd there, was assaulted by an FBI SWAT team, disappeared in jail for 4 days without a phone call, and then got bonded out to find myself facing a 20-year felony. And then they gave me a single misdemeanor plea deal to make it all go away, but that would have been a false confession of guilt. I was innocent. I refused on principle, knowing I would take a 20-year felony on the chin and go to prison, which I did. They tried to lock me up for almost a decade. They abused me in isolation for 4 straight months. I served a full year and then won at the Supreme Court, being vindicated, got out before President Trump was actually back in office, and continued to press my appeal until being exonerated, all 5 charges vacated with prejudice. I'm completely innocent and restored, now running for Congress at johnstrand.com with a story like you have never heard in your life.
Well, John Strand, author and running for Congress in the 19th Congressional District in Florida. Thank you for joining us. Tell us about those dark days in prison. How did they torture you?
So Geneva Convention and Amnesty International both classify isolation beyond 14 days as torture. I was held in isolation, very abusive isolation conditions for 4 straight months. For example, even in isolation conditions in the United States, supposedly we have rules and regulations to guardrail. Some of those include an hour of recreation per day, and particularly at least a phone call every 7 days. When you are in isolation, first of all, you are in a concrete shoebox about 10 by 10, feeling like you're buried underground. You're almost cut off from human contact entirely. That phone call is the difference between life or death. You will scratch your eyeballs out to get that phone call. After about the first 72 hours, you're losing your mind. They never gave me those phone calls. They cut me off for months from all contact with my family, my attorneys. They blocked my attorneys from scheduled visits. That's wildly illegal. The abuse goes on. And if you remember one thing from this interview, you do not want to miss a chance to read this book and learn the details of the story. Patriot Plea has just been released. You can get it at johnstrand.com and at Amazon. And it is an incredible tale. It feels like an action movie, but it's actually a real story. You'll be very disturbed by what has happened inside the United States of America, but it's also a redeeming story about how God uses suffering for a purpose, and that if we're faithful to trust in the truth of what God has given us and reclaim our American birthright, that amazing things can still happen.
We have still more time, Amy, right?
Yeah.
Because there's something in our interview that came up that was news to me, and I think it's a big thing. Because, again, I looked at all the data, looked at all the film. I think that January 6th, in my critical analyst eye, was crap. I think it was mostly a setup. I'm not a fan. Which, by the way, anyone looks at you and that's an unreasonable opinion to have. No, you can have whatever opinion you want. There's no, you can question an election. You can question the events that are told to you you're supposed to. But there's one thing that stood out is that when the crowd moved from the Trump speech to the Capitol, everyone was made to believe that they were just roving, looking for trouble. They weren't at all. There was something on the schedule that drew them over there, correct?
Absolutely. It was advertised weeks in advance. There was a website. This was widely distributed for weeks. And this was the third of 3 major protests in D.C., all related to an obviously irregular and now we know fraudulent election. So it was an entirely reasonable opinion at the time. Now it's basically been, proven beyond a shadow of a doubt. But nevertheless, millions of people over the course of several months were going to D.C. to participate in this effort to challenge an election. This included sitting congressmen and senators that were prepared to challenge the electors as well. So it was advertised weeks in advance that there would be a morning speech and then a ceremonial march and then afternoon speeches. The advertising literally said on the steps of the Capitol. So it was clearly indicated that a crowd would be gathering at the northeast corner on the plaza. The plaza is open to the public 365 days a year, essentially. It is the literal de facto public square. So full expectation that people would be gathering there in the plaza, that there would be speeches. By the way, several congressmen were scheduled to speak with us that day. This was all advertised in advance. So yeah, a roving band of insurrectionists is totally ridiculous. It's just not true. It's a pathetic false narrative driven by Nancy Pelosi and the Democrats, obviously. And if you want all the details, breaking it down, read Patriot Plea. It's all in there, and it will really, really blow you away.
John Strand, thank you so much for joining us. Again, the book is A Patriot Plea. And good luck with your race. August 18th is the primary in Florida. So
Thanks, John.
we will be keeping track of your progress.
Thank you so much. We got an exciting chance to win. Go to johnstrand.com and help us, because this is the week that it matters. We can win this race. God bless you guys.
God bless you too. And he joined us on our Alpha Wealth Group answer line.
Hear about the big stories of the day, then talk about them right here on Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer. Don't miss In Grace with Pastor Jim Scudder Jr. Now heard on Sunday mornings at 7:30. Tune in and find hope as Jim Scudder explores God's Word and His world each Sunday morning right here on AM 560. The Answer.
When your joints hurt every day and you've been told you need surgery, do your homework. Once a joint is replaced, there's no going back. Hey, it's Dan Proft. Before you schedule surgery, get a second opinion from my friends at QC Kinetics. I personally recommend them. Whether you're dealing with pain from bone-on-bone arthritis, torn meniscus, or years of wear and tear, surgery isn't your only conversation. Talk to Dr. Caravelli and her team at QC Kinetics. They use regenerative treatments to deliver relief to patients like you. You'll start with a medical evaluation, reviewing your history, any imaging, and the actual source of pain. If you're a good candidate, they'll concentrate tiny healing tools within your body right in the spot that's causing pain. The whole idea is to give you a real shot at holding off on surgery, or in some cases, avoiding it altogether. Don't accept surgery as your only option. Call QC Kinetics today for a second opinion. The conversation and consultation are free, and weekend appointments are available. Call 312-827-6261. Again, 312-827-6261. Once more, call 312-827-6261.
Are you turning 65 and thinking about Medicare? Or are you over 65 and haven't enrolled yet because you still have coverage at work? Either way, Medicare done correctly will be the best health insurance you will ever have. Imagine having an annual deductible of only $283. There are only two good things about aging, wisdom and Medicare. But to navigate the Medicare maze properly, you need a mentor. Best part? My guidance costs you nothing. Call me. I can help.
If you're tired of calling a bureaucrat at an 800 number to help you navigate Medicare, then you need a local expert on your side. Your own health insurance mentor. C. Stephen Tucker from healthinsurancementors.com is someone I know and trust. He's a 30-year licensed broker who's been educating our listeners for more than a decade. Steve, how can our listeners get in touch with you?
Thanks, Dan. They can visit healthinsurancementors.com or call me directly at 630-674-1551. That's 630-674-1551.
Signature, a division of Esquire Bank, offers Chicago businesses relationship-first banking. Signature knows your name and your story because personalized banking still matters. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature is where I do my business banking.
Hi, I'm Phil Silverman, CFO of Chicago Atlantic and a client of Signature. We provide capital solutions in markets where risk is often fundamentally mispriced and traditional financing can be limited. At Chicago Atlantic, success depends on experience, responsiveness, attention to detail, and an entrepreneurial mindset. That's exactly what we found with Signature. Their team understands how we operate, supports our growth, and delivers the kind of personal service that's increasingly rare in banking today. And that's exactly why we bank with Signature.
Signature helps local businesses succeed. Want to learn how Signature can help turn your business vision into reality? Call Signature, a division of Esquire Bank, at 773-467-5600 or visit signature.esquirebank.com. Esquire Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Hey, did you ever track down that missing warehouse key?
I forgot all about it.
You forgot? You said that guy was furious when you had to let him go.
That doesn't matter anymore. Goldilocks set us up with new managed access control. We're keyless now. Everyone has a card or fob. Even their phone works.
Huh. You don't have to worry about people copying keys either.
Yeah, never again. Goldilocks allows me to handle everything from my phone or laptop. I can see who came into the building, when they left, restrict their access at night. I can grant temporary access to visitors, too. It takes 30 seconds to add or remove someone.
That sounds a lot safer and simpler.
Stop guessing who has access to your building. Set up access controls today by calling Goldilocks at 708-889-5600. Again, that's 708-889-5600 or visit GoldilocksInc.com. Goldilocks. Security under your control.
The following contains a celebrity impersonation.
Mr. President, we're seeing reporting that air conditioning systems are failing as temperatures rise. What is your response?
I said, don't wait. People wait until the last second, then suddenly it's hot and nothing works. I understand this stuff, probably better than anybody.
Mr. President, why hasn't the White House issued any guidance?
I gave perfect guidance. Call Air Right Heating and Cooling. That's the guidance. If people followed it, we wouldn't even be talking about this.
Sir, but homeowners have so many HVAC options.
They're not like Air Right. You got some bad installers out there, some real bad hombres. I wouldn't let them near the White House. It would be a complete disaster.
Mr. President, there are reports of significant rebates on new systems. Can you confirm?
I've heard about them. A lot of people talking about them. If you miss out, you'd have to be really not so smart. Tremendous savings, let me tell you.
Visit Air Right Heating and Cooling at AIR-RITE.com. Air Right, doing it right since 1959.
Take the journey of living a happy, successful, and meaningful life through God. Listen to It's Time with Dan Lights, Sunday mornings at 9 on our sister station, AM 1160. Hope for your life. AM 560, The Answer.
All right, we're going to stay in Florida because in South Florida, they have something new, a one of a kind. Do you know what that is, Jim?
Oh, I do. Yeah,
well, you do know.
I'm on my way.
So have you ever thought, oh, what should I wear to dinner? Has that ever been a problem? Like, honey, what should I wear? Well, you don't have to worry about it anymore if you go to the Soiree Steakhouse. Folks, it's legal, and it's an all-nude restaurant.
Yeah, no, you heard that right, people.
Tonight, the chef expects about 20 people, men, women, some single, some not. All of them nude. Toshiba Hart is your hostess.
It's more so of a gathering to get to know people, new people in the city and the lifestyle.
Will you cook in the nude ever or what?
Me? No. Now, there's no touchy-feely stuff going on at the table? What about that? Somebody gets friendly? What's the story?
That's French for no.
I love this.
All right, that's what the chef says, that no funny business goes on. We did check with the city. All of this, by the way, is perfectly legal for a couple of reasons really quick. Number one, the staff has to keep their clothes on. Only the customers can be naked. And number two, all of the windows here, you can't see in or out, so there's no peeping.
No peeping Toms.
Do we really have to comment on the story? The story in itself, just play that clip. It's
you ever
fantastic.
seen a grown man naked?
Here we are.
312-642-5600. Don't you know that's our Alpha Wealth Group call and text line? So, yeah, so what they do is they go into the restaurant. You have to go into the restaurant clothed.
Okay.
And then you just, in front of everybody, you just take off your clothes and put them in a little cubby and then sit down.
Count me in.
I mean, what do they do with the chairs after people
It's
eat there?
unhygienic. Exactly. It's
they
awful.
should make them shower first. Like before you get into a pool, you got to shower first.
Yeah. Which, by the way, with how hot it is in the studio for the last 3 hours, that taking my clothes off sounds relatively attractive right now. Justin.
Tickets, all right, ready this. This is gender bias. Tickets for men are $250. For women, it's $150. Whoa.
Why?
Couples, it's $300.
Do people want to see the women? I think that's a great idea.
We should do this at Brant's.
How do you know we already aren't? I know we have, but it's Tuesday night at Brant's.
You have a back room? Oh, Tuesday night's naked night.
Naked night? No. Yes.
What are you going to offer? I mean, this is a 5-star dining experience, and if you could see, the video of it, it's a beautiful restaurant.
Place. Yeah.
They have beautiful place settings, nice linens. The chef looks like he knows what he's doing. They, had a plate for the reporter to eat. It was great food.
Well, here's a question, though. Doesn't it seem like, and I've been to beaches that are kind of half nudie in Europe and stuff. It doesn't seem like the people who are the most willing to be nude in these public spaces are the people you'd least like to see nude in these public places. Is that just my imagination?
I've been to Black's Beach in San Diego, yes,
Yes.
where it's clothing optional.
Yeah.
And always the people that are.
It's not great.
Yeah. But
Put some
if
clothes
you can make money, that's pretty good.
I guess. I mean, if
I
this
wonder if
really
it's legal
attracts the
here.
people, it's fantastic. It can't be legal here. There's too many regulations for restaurants. I would think. I don't know. Maybe it is. Yeah. I'm not going to find out.
No,
Yeah.
you're not. But maybe we could suggest this for Dan.
Excuse me?
Because he lives in Florida.
Oh, he could
We can
easily.
take a little-
Yes, he could easily
He
take
could
it.
take a little fact-finding mission for AM 560.
Rip it off and let's go.
Morning
Yeah.
Crew. All right, coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer, I'm so excited. U.S. Senate candidate from Minnesota, Michelle Tafoya, will
her.
be joining us. I know, former CBS Sports anchor, ESPN anchor. I love her to pieces. She'll join us next. It's now 8 a.m., WIND, Chicago.
Holding Dr. Anthony Fauci in contempt of Congress. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. That's what a Senate committee is considering.
There will be another pandemic. The time to determine which legislative reforms are necessary to ensure that the mistakes of the past are not repeated is now.
So Republican Chairman Rand Paul accuses Fauci, an ex-presidential COVID advisor, of obstructing their investigation by refusing to answer any questions at a hearing last week.
This committee and the American people have a right to know why Dr. Fauci's agency funded dangerous research at the Wuhan Institute of Virology and what role he played in approving and overseeing it.
Paul and many Republicans believe COVID leaked out of a lab, something Fauci's doubted. The doctor also maintains Chairman Paul has a vendetta, wanting him in jail. Democratic Senator Gary Peters urged the committee a few minutes ago to vote no.
Following a one-sided investigation and a rushed process that has repeatedly excluded the minority and other members of this committee.
If the resolution's approved, it could be sent to the Justice Department to consider prosecuting Fauci. Talks continue to try to get the shipping flowing again through the Strait of Hormuz as President Trump keeps insisting attacks on ships end or else.
I'd rather make a deal because I don't want to kill people. I do not want to kill people.
Reports do indicate that progress in talks between Iran and Oman aimed at opening the strait, led in part by Gulf allies urging the president not to strike.
That's Fox's Trey Yingst in Tel Aviv. The president also keeps demanding that Iran agree to never have nuclear weapons. The conflict in Lebanon's flared back up. 2 Israeli soldiers were killed, 4 others wounded after
an explosion inside a building they'd entered as part of a security sweep. The Israeli militaries conducted retaliatory attacks on a town about 15 miles away from where the blast occurred. This as talks continue between Israel and Lebanon to discuss implementing the truce. It's meant to lead to an Israeli withdrawal from the country's south.
That's Fox's Jonathan Savage. America's listening to Fox News.
Clouds, very humid this morning, 71 degrees at 8:02 in the QC Kinetics newsroom. Family of a woman killed in a Fox River boat crash is filing a wrongful death lawsuit. Magdalena Jablonska was a U.S. Marine veteran. Her fiancé survived the boat collision and is still recovering. He is expected to speak this morning. Richard Stevenson is charged in that crash and accused of having a blood alcohol level more than twice the legal limit. Illinois House Speaker Chris Welch publicly acknowledging missteps in his handling of sexual harassment allegations against former state representative Harry Benton, a Democrat from Plainfield, saying he did not do enough to protect women.
The first time that I learned that I made her feel uncomfortable was when I read it in the Chicago Tribune, and I felt terrible. I really did. And honestly, I'm going to own that. I regret it.
Welch apologizing to a sexual harassment victim of the former state representatives who says Welch made her feel uncomfortable. Local businessman and political gadfly Willie Wilson will make another run for mayor of Chicago. The 78-year-old entrepreneur and McDonald's owner has made 3 previous attempts for the 5th floor office at City Hall. Chicago sports. Bears have a key defender back on the field at training camp this morning. Linebacker T.J. Edwards is back, activated from the non-football injury list. Cubs hold off the Dodgers 7-6 at Wrigley, and the Sox lost at Fenway 4-0. The news, a service of Woodland Windows and Doors. Welcome a Woodland sales expert into your home. You'll get a no-pressure sale, product expert, and design consultant, someone who has your best interest in mind. Visit woodlandwindows.com to get started. Time now for the AM 560 Business Beat, a service of Signature, a division of Esquire Bank.
I'm Charles Payne, and this is the Fox Business Report.
Some food and drink giants in the spotlight this morning. Restaurant Brands International reporting quarterly earnings at top analyst expectations, fueled by strong growth for the once struggling Burger King, both domestically and abroad. Burger King's U.S. same-store sales climbed 8.5%. In comparison, rival McDonald's reported U.S. same-store sales growth of just 0.8%. Restaurant Brands shares, though, are under pressure because the rest of the company didn't do as well. Tim Hortons same-store sales in Canada and overall were essentially flat for the quarter, while Popeyes Louisiana Kitchen reported U.S. same-store sales declines of 5.2%. Shares of Molson Coors Brewing up modestly after an earnings beat. Revenue topped expectations. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Lillian Wu, invested in you.
Sean Fest returns on August 28th at the Westin Chicago Northwest in Itasca. Be a part of a live, on-location broadcast of The Sean Thompson Show, including a performance of the national anthem, followed by live music, food, drinks, and an opportunity to meet Sean Thompson. Registration is free. Go to 560theanswer.com/SeanFest. That's 560theanswer.com/SHAUN Fest. Sponsored in part by Virago and by State Farm Insurance Agent Anthony DeGrotto.
Imagine getting this kind of news. Karen Collins was in her 20s. She was newly married, and then her husband, Michael, was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer.
And he told me, and I just cried because I didn't really know what the plan was.
There was another fear, too, the medical bills. And thankfully, they were members of Medi-Share, and Medi-Share came through for them, and not just financially.
But they called and they said, hey, we know you're going through treatment. We just wanted to call and pray for you. And it rocked my world. And every time they called, it was like, how can we pray for you right now? How are you doing today?
Medi-Share was a blessing to us because they just made it so easy.
Yes, Medi-Share can save you a lot of money. But as Karen and Michael discovered, it's also about knowing you're not going through life's hardest moments alone. Call now. See why so many people have made the switch to Medi-Share. Here's the number. It's 833-34-BIBLE. That's 833-34-BIBLE. 833-34-BIBLE.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-884-1012 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-884-1012. That's 800-884-1012. What do you have to lose? Call 800-884-1012. Again, 800-884-1012.
Need a little hope in your life? Listen to Truth for Life with Alistair Begg every weekday morning starting at 7:30 a.m. on our sister station, AM 1160. Hope for your life.
It's 8:08. Let's get an update on the roads. Team Hochberg Traffic Center time. Elk Grove Village, Arlington Heights, and Devon report of an accident being swept out of your way. Route 53 northbounders. You're on the brakes from the Ike all the way up to Kirchhoff this morning. Lakeshore Drive, northbound Soldier Field up to Monroe. You're on the brakes. And slowdowns in the express lanes on the Kennedy inbound between Keeler and the Ohio-Ontario feeder. Traffic, a service of the AM 560 store. T-shirts, hoodies, and more from your favorite AM 560 brands. When you go, 560theanswer.com/store. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Now a check of your forecast in the Air Right Heating and Cooling Weather Center with Jason Caterina.
Today, expect clouds to gradually clear, making way for some sunshine with a passing shower. It'll be humid with a high of 78. Tonight, there is a chance of a thunderstorm in the evening. Otherwise, skies will be clear to partly cloudy, remaining humid with a low of 67. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Goldilocks, offering 24/7 security solutions for homes and businesses. Call them today at 708-889-5600.
Now, from The Signature, a division of Esquire Bank Studios. This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft on AM 560. The Answer.
Four-time Emmy Award-winning broadcaster, now running for U.S. Senate in Minnesota. On the Republican side, our side, Michelle Tafoya. Without further ado, let's welcome her to the program. Good morning, Michelle. How are you?
Good morning. It's great to be with you. How are you?
Good. It's Amy Jacobson and Jim Urio. We're filling in for Dan Proft today, and we are thrilled to have you back because, you know, pedal to the metal, the primary is this coming Tuesday, and what's your final push to voters?
Well, you know what? Just that we are the Republican candidate that can win. We show that in poll after poll, and Republicans haven't held this seat in 20 years. And we finally have an opportunity with an open seat, Senator Tina Smith stepping down, and the two candidates that are running on the Democrat side, we'll see which one comes through. But I don't think either one has the answers for Minnesota. One is our Lieutenant Governor, Peggy Flanagan. She's been right at Tim Walz's side as our state has gone through complete embarrassment with fraud and other issues. The other is Angie Craig, who's been in the House and really hasn't done anything except vote against the Farm Bill, which, as you likely know, Minnesota's economic backbone is the agricultural sector. And so to vote against a Farm Bill because she didn't want some common sense changes to the SNAP program, trying to clean up more fraud. She didn't want that. So she voted against it. Fortunately, the Farm Bill did pass through the House. It's working its way through the Senate right now. But that's the option that we have. It's pretty much common sense on my side and a little bit of crazy on theirs.
And Tim Walz, obviously, he's lame duck. He's not running for re-election. And don't forget what he said about a pedophile who was raping a 10-year-old boy for a few years, but then he stopped. And this is what he said.
Did that make us any safer? Did that make the children that are left behind any more stable? Did it improve the idea that we can't all be judged by our worst day? And I want to be very clear, these are horrific crimes. They often are. By just picking them up and taking them out with no due process, it just seems unfair.
Walk us through that. Why in the world would Governor Walz try and protect a pedophile?
Not only Governor Walz, but our AG, Keith Ellison, as well. This whole administration has, like I said, really been an embarrassment. And that pardoning this pedophile was peak embarrassment. It was disgraceful, absolutely disgusting. And to say, don't judge someone by their worst day, this person was raping this 10 to 12-year-old over the course of 2 years. And it wasn't worst day. Having a bad day is one thing. Having a bad couple of years by criminally abusing a child is quite something else. So, the Democrats have really had one-party rule here in Minnesota for years, and nothing has gone well. We need changes. We need changes, even if it's at the federal level, which is the office I'm running for. I can certainly have influence from that seat. And we need to bring some common sense back to Minnesota.
So there's one quick comment about one of the funniest things in politics is when the Democratic Party thought that they'd bring Tim Walz to the ticket because he's I almost can't say it with a straight face.
No, he's a guy's
because
guy.
he's a guy's guy, and he'll appeal to the guys.
He wears camo.
It's so how little they know about us. But that's not my question. My question is this: is that I loved you in the NFL. You were fantastic, and I want the answer to this question. I want a specific answer that I'm hoping for. But like, what was it that kind of pushed you to give up that career and then activated you towards trying to make change and do what you're doing now?
This was not a recent change of heart. This happened beginning with 9/11. I unapologetically, unabashedly love this country. And I know it's, for some people, that's not cool or chic to say. I don't care. I love this country. And when it got attacked on 9/11, it really opened my eyes. I began to really immerse myself in the political issues. So this was back in 2001. And wow, we're getting in here on the 25th anniversary, and it's hard to believe it's been that long. But so for the last 25 years, I've just been aching and hurting for our country. And then to see what's happened in Minnesota and just be an embarrassment. I can't tell you how many people I talk to in the state who are embarrassed to say they're from here. You know, shoot, Michelle, I went on a trip and people ask me where I'm from and I just don't want to tell them. So I just say the Midwest. You know, I get that comment every single day. Wow. So what's happened here is these are really a lot of unforced errors, right? And so I just kept watching and saying, if my kids get to the point where they can handle this and my family agrees that we can handle this, I'm going to do this. And all the stars just aligned. Tina Smith stepped out of the seat. It was an open seat. We were at peak crazy here in Minnesota. And I just decided, you know what? If I don't do this, I'm going to regret it for the rest of my life. I want to serve. I'm going to give this a go. And let's go. And the family was in. And so here we are.
That's awesome. Now, that's a great answer, by the way, but the answer I was hoping for, and I want to know if any of this was embedded in it, because the NFL inexplicably went woke. I never really got it. I don't know where the pressure was coming from. Their fan base certainly didn't want them to be woke, but something really weird happened there. Was that any part of your decision, or why did they do that?
I can't answer the why. I think that, we can trace protests back through the history of sports, and we can get to the Mexico City Olympics, and we can get to a lot of places and think, where was the origin of using sports as a platform? But truly, these athletes do have a platform, and I am a First Amendment absolutist. If they want to kneel during the anthem, that is their right. Did it break my heart? Yes, it did. Yes, it did. It was hard to watch, and that really opened my eyes to, what do these guys? I understand what their grievances are, but what don't they understand about the progress that we've made in this country? And then I started seeing it in my kids' schools. So, when you've got skin in the game and you see your kids being taught certain narratives, you start to really think, okay, if this is going on in one school, in one town, in one state, what's happening everywhere else? And so I really started to look at school choice and the education system. My mom was a public school teacher for her entire career. So I really started digging into that. And I thought, we're not teaching civics. Half of our kids in Minnesota can't read at grade level. Half of them can't do math at grade level. To me, that is criminal. If we are going to spend money, and it's not just about the money, this is a moral imperative. We need to send our kids into the world able to read and do math. A real quick little story. I talked to a guy who's in the construction business, and they usually have a test for guys who are going to come work for them to add fractions, because, when you're measuring stuff, you might have 3/8 of an inch here plus 1.5 inches of it over there. What is that total? And they said they had to take that question off the test because none of the guys could do fractions. This is the direction we are going, and we're trying to compete not just as a state. We're trying to compete as a country on the world stage, and we are letting our kids down, and that means we're letting our future down. I just couldn't sit by and watch that.
Yeah. Now, also, one book that kids can read, it's The Trans Doll. Here's an explanation of that. Only in Minnesota so far.
Everyone should be learning that there's diversity in gender identity, and that what makes you real is not what your body parts are, but how you think and feel. I have already begun using the dolls with my own patients who are between 5 and 10 years old.
5 and 10 years old. So what is there any pushback to try and get that interactive trans doll / book off the shelves or out of the classrooms, I should say?
So for people who haven't heard this, these dolls can have their privates removed and switched around, and you can come up with any combination of things. It's just not reality. This is not reality. And if you are suggesting to 4- and 5-year-old children, which this is the part that really angers me. I remember my kids when they were 4 and 5. You know, this was not even on the radar. These are vulnerable, tender-hearted kids who are trusting their teachers. And then these teachers come in with this kind of, and Tim Walz wants them to have these dolls available. This is not appropriate for school. This is just complete, and it's not appropriate for 4-year-olds. But you know what they say? They want to get them while they're young. And to press this ideology on children of that age, it honestly leaves me breathless. I can't, and I think I speak for probably 90% of Minnesota.
Yeah, I mean, it's like the new Mr. Potato Head.
Oh,
remember where you put different, like, I'm going to try this nose and this thing. I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous. So what's next for Tampon Tim once he's out of office?
I
said
have no idea. I have no idea, but that is the only consequence he is facing so far for overseeing at least $9 billion worth of fraud in the state. And, look, he says the buck stops with him, but then he doesn't really want to take any responsibility. So, and, we went from having a massive surplus in Minnesota to a massive deficit, all the while giving this money away, just giving it away. So,
and mostly
I don't
to
know
Somalian Americans, right?
That's in the paperwork. Yeah. That is in the paperwork. So people can go and look for that for themselves. So I don't know what's next for him. I'm glad he won't be our governor anymore. And I don't think he would have been had he run for a third term, which is why he stepped out of the race. So we've got to see what we can do as Minnesota. I hope that Minnesotans are seeing that we need drastic change, that all these quote unquote experienced career politicians have brought us to this place. And if we want to get out of it, we're going to need some outsiders. We're going to need real change. And so I am just hoping and praying that Minnesotans are of that same mind.
Now you're smart. You graduated from Berkeley. Loved you on the radio, and I think it's translated well into politics, and we can tell that you really care. How big of a decision was it with your family to run for Senate? And has there been any threats against any of your family members? Because the left can get ugly. We do know that.
I do know that. Mostly they're coming at me, fortunately. It was a big decision. I talked to each one individually. We've talked as a group. My husband and I have been discussing this, like I said, for 25 years as to how this was going to fit into our future life. And so it was a massive decision. And so those who say, oh, she just jumped in the race, you don't just jump into a race. And, real quick, I do want to say to your audience that, yes, I did graduate from Berkeley. I returned my diploma because Cal Berkeley was turning down conservative speakers on campus because it ruffled a few of their liberal feathers. That was many years ago, probably 10 years ago now, and I sent my diploma back. So I don't know that I can say I'm a Berkeley grad, but I did get my master's in business at USC, and so I still have that diploma.
Good for you.
Good for you.
Well, thank you so much. And for more information, people, and to donate to your campaign, MichelleTafoya.com, correct?
That's it. MICHELE, 1 L in Michelle, although it'll probably get you there if you just Google the name. But thank you for that opportunity. Gosh, we have so much work to do. And that is one thing I pride myself in, is working as hard as I have to for as long as it takes to get this job done. So any support that people want to give would be most appreciated.
All right, Michelle Tafoya, thank you so much for coming on. Good luck on Tuesday.
Thank you.
Looks
Great
like you're doing well in the polls, so thank you so much. And she joined
Fingers
us.
Crossed.
Yep. You got this, girl. And she joined us on our Alpha Wealth Group answer line.
It's news, opinion, insight. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Man, I love this place. I've been surfing here since I was a kid. Now, seeing my grandson out on the water, it means everything to me. Watching him and taking in the blue waves, the sea breeze, Blurry horizon?
If you have geographic atrophy, or GA, subtle changes in vision could mean it's progressing toward irreversible vision loss. Izervay is proven to slow GA progression and could help preserve your vision for longer, so you may keep seeing the world around you. Izervay, or avacincaptad pegol, is an eye injection. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may cause blood in the white of the eye, blurred vision, or a temporary increase in eye pressure. Do not drive or use machinery until vision has recovered after an eye injection or exam. Ask your retina specialist how you can slow your GA with Izervay. To learn more, call 1-855-IZERVAY or go to izervay.com. Paid for by Astellas Pharma.
Hi, it's Amy Jacobson, and last year I hired Level 10 Coatings to give my garage floor a total makeover, and I am loving it. It still looks great, shiny, and clean. Level 10 Coatings. Now, you've got to call these guys if your garage floor is cracked, stained, still covered in salt. Don't live like that. Get it done now so you can enjoy it this summer. Level 10 Coatings. They're fast, reliable, and highly professional. Guess what? I went to work. When I came home, it was done. A shiny, new, gleaming garage floor. A quick, easy fix, and it's guaranteed never to chip or peel. Why? It's not an epoxy job, it's better. Level 10 uses polyurea, which is much better than epoxy. So schedule your free quote today and mention me, Amy, to receive $500 off. Visit level10coatings.com. That's level, the number 10, coatings.com, or call 855-510-2628. Staff are local and ready to answer questions. Level 10 Coatings, your premier concrete coating experts.
Maybe you've thought about taking a cruise. Maybe you've even talked yourself out of it. But this is not just another vacation. This is the Gulf of America cruise. 7 days through the Caribbean with Mike Gallagher, Scott Jennings, Larry O'Connor, Jennifer Horn, and a ship full of people who love this country. No packing and unpacking, no complicated planning, just great destinations, meaningful conversations, and a once-in-a-generation celebration of America's 250th. This November, be there. Text CRUISE to 94878 to book your cabin today.
The TV tide is turning, and millions of Americans are tuning to Salem News Channel. For breaking news, common sense analysis, and the conservative voices leading the conversation, SNC delivers the stories that matter most. Watch Scott Jennings, Larry Elder, Mike Gallagher, and many others tackling the issues facing our nation. Stream free on Pluto TV, Samsung TV, the Roku channel, and more. Salem News Channel, the news you want, the perspective you trust.
Patrick was way behind on his IRS taxes.
I was in way over my head. The total amount ended up being somewhere just over $30,000. $30,000.
Then the IRS came to collect.
Started getting letter after letter. A lien had been filed against me. They were going to basically hang me completely out to dry.
He had to do something.
That's when I reached out to Optima Tax Relief.
Patrick's life quickly got a lot easier.
It was very easy, pretty much hands off. They picked up the ball and ran with it.
And how'd it go?
I couldn't believe it. I had to ask 2 or 3 times. I saved an incredible amount of money.
How does Patrick feel about Optima?
Couldn't be happier. They definitely helped me. Optima Tax Relief, the best place to call. They're the best in the business.
Do what Patrick did and call Optima Tax Relief for a free consultation. Call 800-965-1433. 800-965-1433. 800-965-1433.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
AM 560.
The answer.
Text messages are pouring in. Great show, Jim and Amy. Great guests this morning. You two are a great team. Hope all is well. Well, thank you. What did you say? You have to turn the microphone on. What, your first time? You're nervous?
Hold it. Can you hear me or no?
Yeah, we can hear you.
I think that text smells like my sister a little bit. I think saying how great a team we are.
So Jim and I have fun poking fun at each other, and you and I have something in common.
Oh, we sure do.
So at the end of the school year in high school, yes, we're talking about high school, they do best eyes, most likely to succeed. Well, at Hersey, they had great butt.
They're called the senior superlatives. That's what they're called, right?
Oh.
Yeah.
You must have gone to Palatine to use fancy words like superlatives. So Jim and I have something in common.
Sure do.
Do you want to tell them? Or
I'll tell them.
We both, drum roll. Justin, do you have a drum roll? We both
Best legs.
Yeah.
I was runner-up, but I have to. Truthfulness is important. But I was runner-up, but it's a big school, so I still considered it a victory. Particularly for a 5'8" guy to be voted best legs. I have kind of short legs, so I'm fairly proud of it.
Okay.
I was best personality too, but I'm way more proud of the legs thing. You?
Damn, no, keep going, Jim.
No.
I'm Mr. Personality.
That was like an afterthought. That's like Miss Congeniality at the beauty. Like, I don't want to be best personality. I want to have good legs.
So ours was called Sexiest Legs.
Really?
And I didn't come in second. I came in first. Thank you.
Does not surprise me.
Thank you.
Yeah.
But I also...
This dovetails into the new dining thing, by the way. We should go back to that story.
But also, I did not get best personality. I got... Are you ready?
Yeah, you go. I know what you got.
I got biggest brown nose. Okay, That's okay.
I thought you were going to say homecoming queen. You got that too, right?
Yeah.
Box checked.
But yeah, I got biggest brown nose.
What does that even mean? That you're nice to the adults and the teachers and things? Like, I don't even get that.
That means you work people to get what you want. You're brown nose. You suck up to the teachers and to... but I wasn't sucking up. I was just learning from them, and I was always there.
Logical to
always
be
sat in the first row, took copious notes, was, not late for school, did what I was supposed to do.
Well, my mom worked at the school, so I couldn't really misbehave very much.
Okay. I don't think they do that anymore.
Oh, really?
Best butt. And I think they
political correctness probably crowded that out. Because remember, there was, I don't remember, but there was some like mean ones. Like, well, actually, like Best Brown Nose is kind of mean a little bit.
Okay, I took it.
No, I don't care. They can tell me whatever I want, but I think there was some that were somewhat derogatory, which I think that those obviously had to go.
Like
and then
what?
anything
Well,
sexual.
like what?
I don't remember, but there was. If anyone can remember any of those, I'm certain there were some that were derogatory, but I'm drawing a blank right now.
Got a text message from 312. Jim, which of you, Amy or Jim, used high heels to accentuate your calves?
Well, that was me. That was definitely me.
I hate high heels. I don't need to be any taller.
No, you're already like 5'10", right?
You need to be taller.
Thank you, Amy, for pointing that out.
All right, coming up, we're going to get back to some serious stuff, but we do like to have fun here. U.S. Senate race in Texas, a new poll is out showing the non-meat eater, now meat eater, ahead in the polls. We'll start there with Ed Morrissey. But now let's head into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott. Good morning, Mike. Did you win anything?
No, but Jim and I both wore heels, and he knows it. In the 1970s, we wore heels with our leisure suits.
Nice.
We all did.
I love those.
Every single one of us wore heels with our leisure suits, at least an inch and a half.
Fantastic. I couldn't get away with that because I'd look like a short guy trying to be not a short guy.
I know, but we all bought them. I bought mine at Rogers Department Store. You bought them at, I don't know, Herpelsheimer's here or something like that, and we all wore them in the 1970s.
Yeah. That's awesome. Thanks, Mike.
QC Kinetics newsroom time, and we're following a developing story today as the family of a woman killed in a Fox River boat crash has filed a wrongful death lawsuit. Magdalena Jablonska was a U.S. Marine veteran. Her fiancé survived that boat crash. He's expected to speak today as her family files that wrongful death lawsuit. Richard Stevenson is charged in the crash and is accused of having a blood alcohol level more than twice the legal limit. Also this morning, senators are voting on whether to hold former National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Disease Director Anthony Fauci in contempt of Congress. Our reporter, Fox's Chad Pergram, is on Capitol Hill.
Committee Chairman Rand Paul believes Anthony Fauci isn't covered by his pardon from former President Biden. And that's why he was required to answer questions last week, rather than invoking the Fifth Amendment 111 times. By the book, the full Senate must approve contempt of Congress and then send a criminal referral to the DOJ for possible prosecution. But that takes 60 votes to overcome a filibuster. So Paul will just send the paperwork on his own. Democrats think that Paul has no case. Republicans believe that Fauci advocated the theory that the virus came from nature and not from the lab in Wuhan.
Also this morning, the U.S. and Iran try and move toward a peace deal. Fox's Trey Yingst has the very latest from Tel Aviv.
The Middle East is waiting to see if a deal can be reached on the Strait of Hormuz to avoid a return to conflict. President Trump spoke overnight from Las Vegas about the Iranian regime.
I'd rather make a deal
because I don't want to kill people. I do not want to kill people. But at some point, we were set for the biggest attack of any attack, and we've hit them very hard for the last few months.
Reports indicate progress in talks between Iran and Oman aimed at opening the strait. This was all led in part by requests from Gulf allies who urged the president not to strike.
A drug-resistant superbug fungus spreading across the United States, now present in 23 states. And despite efforts to contain the spread, the fungus, Candida auris, continues to move across the nation. More than 350 of those cases now occurring here in Illinois, making it one of the hardest hit states, along with Michigan, in the country. And a Chicago man is accused of killing two girlfriends nearly 1 year apart and ordered by a judge to remain behind bars. Anthony Nunnally has been charged with 2 counts of murder. The 21-year-old defendant is accused of killing a 17-year-old in October of 2025 and a year earlier killing a 19-year-old, Sierra Evans. Chicago sports, baseball. Pete Crow Armstrong had an MVP-type night. Pair of home runs, and the Cubs win over the Dodgers 7-6. Cubs get the sweep, and they host Toronto this afternoon. The White Sox look to avoid the sweep. They lost at Fenway last night 4-0. The news, a service of the daily podcast of Chicago's Morning Answer and the Sean Thompson Show. Hear both shows, limited commercials. Subscribe free, 560theanswer.com/podcast. Traffic and weather coming up next on AM 560.
Sean Fest returns on August 28th at the Westin Chicago Northwest in Itasca. Be a part of a live, on-location broadcast of The Sean Thompson Show, including a performance of the national anthem, followed by live music, food, drinks, and an opportunity to meet Sean Thompson. Registration is free. Go to 560theanswer.com/SeanFest. That's 560theanswer.com/SHAUN Fest. Sponsored in part by LeavingIL.com and by Unique Wooden Flags.
Picture this. Bottom of the ninth. Bases loaded. 2 outs. And the IRS is on the hill throwing nothing but heat and chin music. Back taxes, bank levies, wage garnishments, tax liens. You're down in the count. Time to call in a pinch hitter. At PJN Tax Solutions Group, we are your pinch hitter. We deal with the revenue officers so you don't have to. PJN Tax Solutions Group is a local tax resolution firm located right here in St. Charles, Illinois. Don't call some 1-800-FIRM 10 states away. We're right here. When the IRS tries to steal home with your paycheck, we throw them out. When they load the bases with bank levies and wage garnishments, we strike them out. Strike 3, you're out. It's a full count and the game is on the line. Are you stepping up alone or are you bringing in a professional? Call PJN Tax Solutions Group now. 630-415-5296. Again, 630-415-5296. Or just Google, I want the IRS off my ASS.
Foundations of Freedom. A look at America's founding principles and the leaders who shaped our nation.
In 1796, George Washington made one of the most consequential decisions in American history. He chose not to seek a third term as president. So why does that matter? Because America was not built on permanent rulers. It was built on ordered liberty. Faith teaches that authority is a stewardship, not a possession. Leaders are accountable to God for how they use power. And why does that still matter today? Because republics survive when leaders respect limits and citizens defend them. Washington's lesson still stands. A republic is preserved when power has limits, and public service remains a duty to God and country, not a path to personal rule.
As a local business owner, you get called every week by marketing companies. We get it. We have hundreds of satisfied customers. Here's what a satisfied client recently said.
Open enrollment is going great. We're hitting record numbers. Thank you so much for this report. It really is amazing to see how the marketing is really shaping our enrollment around the city.
Salem Surround. Is your business hard to find online? Meet with a digital marketer today for ideas that will make your business stand out. Visit salemsurround.com. This hourly segment is brought to you by Goldilocks, offering smart security systems to homes and businesses. Call Goldilocks at 708-889-5600.
Team Hochberg Traffic Center time. Bloomingdale, report of an accident, Lake and Bloomingdale Road. I-80, an accident westbound just before Wolf Road. Your stop and go from LaGrange Road this morning. Solid traffic on Lakeshore Drive between Bryn Mawr and Hollywood, typical slow spot. Delays on the Kennedy stop and go outbound between Cumberland and the big airport, and the Kennedy inbound Addison to Washington. Traffic, a service of AutoZone. Get in the zone. Starting stronger starts at AutoZone, where they've got battery solutions in the form of free battery testing, battery charging, and replacement batteries that fit your needs. That's what makes them America's #1 battery destination. Get in the zone, AutoZone. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Now a check of your morning forecast in the Air Right Heating and Cooling Weather Center. Chance of heavy thunderstorms this afternoon. A high of 82, humid with some light showers overnight and a low of 68.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com. Now, from The Signature, a division of Esquire Bank Studios. If you're looking for the latest news, insight into what it means, and the sharpest opinion, there's only one station in Chicago where you can turn, and it's this one. We're AM 560, The Answer.
Okay, welcome back to Chicago's Morning Answer. Amy Jacobson, Jim Urio, in for Dan Proft, who will be back tomorrow. So, as always, we thank him for letting us fill in for him. It's always a pleasure.
4 hours goes fast, too.
I know, it does. It does. It flies by. Yeah. All right, so some progressive lefts, Democrat Socialists of America, are changing their tune now that they, won the primary in Michigan, Abdul El-Sayed. And then Francesca Hong in Wisconsin, their primary is on Tuesday, but looks like she's going to win that race.
Just baffling. She's a full-on nut job. Anything like she's.
Well, she could be that, yes.
Yeah. Again, but by the way, it's starting to think like being a full-on nut job. That's like criteria. That's what they're looking for. I think when you get to burn it all down mode, the crazier the people are, the better, I guess, for them, right?
312-642-5600. We're going to play you some waffling, some vacillation, some changes in policy. So Francesca Hong hates America, hates Thanksgiving, and she told Caitlin Collins from CNN why she does not like the holiday, wants it abolished, and it has nothing to do with COVID.
You talked about your past positions that he keeps highlighting and, obviously likely would continue to do so before November should you win. One thing that they brought up as well was a post from you in 2021 where you said Americans should cancel Thanksgiving, should have done this in 1621. The post has been deleted. Republicans have been highlighting it. Do you still believe that Thanksgiving should be canceled?
I'm a chef, and one of the first meals that I made that was for the community when I was 16 was a Thanksgiving meal. I always think my hospitality background in owning a restaurant for 7-8 years, that bringing folks around the table to share conversation and build community is always a good thing. But Thanksgiving is also a time that's incredibly painful for many people in our communities. And so I think I wanted to make sure that people understood that there are multiple views, but views can evolve. And the position that I'm running for right now, and I think my background as a chef, will actually help me become a better governor that's able to bring more people to the table.
How are those skills transferable
I
from
want
being
her.
a chef? I mean, she was a sous chef too at some point in time. To being governor.
To mix the ingredients that are our population to come up.
There you
I
go.
could have written this for her. She missed a trick.
Guess what?
Yeah.
Because hating Thanksgiving is, is similar to hating America. Yeah. Guess what her new favorite holiday is?
Thanksgiving.
You got it, baby. She loves her some.
My favorite holiday is
that really
Thanksgiving.
her? That's really her. She sounds like she's.
There you have it. Yep. I don't want to cancel it. I actually love it.
We bring, actually, it's kind of in-laws and family members and their in-laws, and it's a big event. You know, I'm going to be real. I'm kind of a curmudgeon when it comes to holidays in general. But right now, what we want to get serious about is making sure that we deliver a Democratic trifecta for the majority, for Democrats. And it's exciting to see more and more people join our movement, get engaged, get organized, and get to work to make sure that we have Democrats in the majority in the legislature and the executive this year.
312-642-5600, Alpha Wealth Group call and text line. She told that yesterday to a podcaster how she celebrates the holiday with both her family and her in-laws, former in-laws. She said that in the background there was her Ice Out pin and her Milwaukee Bucks hat were prominently featured in the background as she dished out her newfound love for Thanksgiving, Jim.
Again, these people who buy it, who listen to her like, oh, yeah, she evolved. No, she didn't evolve. She just is trying to put on a specific face so you will vote for her. Can't we just not be idiots as a society sometime and see through these morons?
Well, a political operative got to her and said, like,
of course,
honey, yeah, this isn't
doesn't poll well.
Yeah. And Tuesday's coming around the corner real fast.
Yeah.
The last push is this weekend. She has also campaigned with Hassan Piker, so she would be classified as one of Piker's people.
Yep.
She wants to abolish ICE. She wants to abolish Thanksgiving.
Defund police was in there too, right?
Yep.
I think
and now
that's
she
a
said,
great
you know,
one.
that has changed.
So tiresome.
Abdul El Sahid.
Keep his name out of your mouth. Out of your mouth.
He changed his tune too. You got to hear this one. All right, so remember that horrible synagogue shooting that they had?
I do.
In Michigan, Temple Israel in West Bloomfield Township. The guy was arrested. I mean, he died by suicide after he killed innocent people. We're grateful that children weren't in the building, but security guard was killed. And so after that happened, candidate Abdul El Sayed at the time said, hurt people do hurt people. Not supportive of the Jewish community, not supportive of the victims from that murder. And he said that, you know, that he was asked to, James O'Keefe asked him if he regrets the comments amid concern about him for Jewish voters. And he said, what I mean is hurt people. And maybe if we're serious about ending the hurt, we should stop hurting people. That's what I mean. Okay, so here he is yesterday explaining that. How are you going to get the Jewish vote?
What I mean is that hurt people. That maybe if we're serious about ending the hurt, we should stop hurting people. That's what I mean. I condemn the attack. It was a vile anti-Semitic attack. And I think it's important for us to be asking the big picture question about what's happening now. You've got a Republican Party that is morally bankrupt, that is actively hurting people. And I think if we're serious about addressing a lot of the crises as they stand, maybe stop trying to divide people from each other. Stop trying to pass policies that have us going to war instead of investing here. Stop trying to nickel and dime people at every turn because of the corporations you support and do favors for. And so, look, I stand in solidarity with my Jewish sisters and brothers.
Oh, God.
And we can condemn anti-Semitism, and at the same time, we can be talking about how we bring people together. And we can be talking about everybody's pain. And I think anybody who does not want to do that is not serious about actually addressing the hurt that we see across the board. So I'm trying to unify people around the things that we need and deserve in this country. And as I said, my commitment to Jewish safety is the same as I've got a commitment to my own kids. And that's the highest commitment I can offer as a father.
And when the Attorney General... Thank you, press. We're going to wrap there.
Oh, yeah. Nothing to see here. Got to go.
Yeah. And again, they just go whichever way the wind is blowing. They just kind of jump into that. And what he said originally, that, you know, hurt people, is that he was siding with the perpetrator and not the victim. It's difficult to walk back from that.
And now let's move south to Texas. U.S. Senate candidate James Tallarico.
Oh, yeah, this guy's great.
Okay, so this is, I mean, and I have to thank Justin Kosick personally because we were looking for this soundbite for hours. James Tallarico, when he began his campaign, well, he's wearing a mask inside a church because he's a Presbyterian seminary, don't you know? Because, you know, God is non-binary.
Is both masculine and feminine and everything in between. God is non-binary.
Are you masculine or feminine, or are you everything in between, Mr. Tallarico? And basically, oh my gosh, I can't find it. Oh, here. Oh, okay. During the beginning weeks of his campaign, because he's all about the environment. So what do you do when you're concerned about the environment? Well, you don't eat meat, but you're in Texas. So
I am proud to say that our campaign has officially become a non-meat campaign. So we are only buying vegan products from our local vegan businesses. Some of you may know Big Nona's. They were little Nona's, and then they opened up brick and mortar, so another Big Nona's. But we just got our pizza from there today. And so the point is that I think all of us, not just policymakers, but everyone has to take personal responsibility in this effort.
Yeah. Oh, I got a lot about that because it is. If you've ever read the book "How the World Really Works" by Vaclav Slim, he's a professor, and he argues that the whole eating vegetables instead of meat would be good for the environment if all of them were grown within like a couple miles of you. The fact that we eat tomatoes from California, basically we put water, which is what 80% of tomatoes are, and put them in a truck that runs on fossil fuel to bring it here. It's much better for the environment to be eating dense nutritional proteins like chicken and beef than it is from eating California tomatoes. So the whole thing is asinine, and that they put themselves in a less healthy diet to show some loyalty. That ideology makes me crazy.
Well, so it's so funny. So that wasn't polling well. You cannot run for U.S. Senate in Texas when a majority are ranchers, run cattle, there's slaughterhouses everywhere. I mean, they love their cattle.
Yeah.
And so then, I'm sorry, I've changed my mind.
Did I say vegan? No.
And, I'm an 8th generation Texan. I've been eating barbecue since before Ken Paxton's first indictment. And if all they have on me is lying about me being a vegan, I feel pretty good.
I mean, but the best part is, Jim, and you should see this video, his team called a press conference at a barbecue joint to watch him shove a stick of meat down his throat. Look. He likes meat. Vote for him.
Yeah, I just couldn't. That's maybe why I'll never run for office. Is that you? This is ridiculous. If that's really what you have to
borders.
do.
I
know.
Yeah. So he's single, 37 years old. Claims he has a girlfriend from
Canada.
Yeah, right. That he met at band camp.
Right.
Kind of like Cory Booker. You know what I mean? With this alleged girlfriend, but he doesn't take her out in public because he doesn't want her to get any media scrutiny.
Exactly.
Here he is on border security. He was all about open borders.
I called out Joe Biden for failing to secure our southern border.
My God.
And I got a lot of heat in my own party for doing that. But I remember talking with my colleagues in the legislature who represent border communities, and they told me about the utter chaos caused by President Biden's policies. And the Democratic Party, we're the ones that should be about making government work for people.
Right.
And our immigration system is a prime example of government not working for people. And so I'm a border security Democrat. I believe we've got to have a sane.
No.
Prove it at the time. Be vocal about it then. You cannot walk back on that and say, "Oh yeah, I told my best friend and my girlfriend from Canada how much against it I was." Yeah. So.
You live in Texas. You're now becoming aware of the situation.
No, we do not.
Give me a break. Let's go to Tom in Blue Island. Hello, Tom.
Hello, Amy, my friend. Hello, Jim. Hey, as you guys are discussing the politics of misdirection, Amy, I think you're going to start getting yourself in a little bit of trouble if you keep referring to Mr. You have to refer to Mr. Saeed as Dr. Saeed. All I heard on the radio all day yesterday, I go, all of a sudden he's a doctor again. So they're going to try to deflect with that as you guys, are talking about, now Tallarico eats meat and stuff. And Jim, you said a couple of minutes ago, as far as the Thanksgiving murderer, the Democrats just don't care. They're going to vote for her anyway, brother.
Yeah.
I mean, she is, I'm all about helping people with mental illness, but when she was 18, she was in the hospital for bipolar disorder.
Yep.
Single mom. She had a failed restaurant. So you're promoting. I'm a chef, so I'll make a great governor. But you were the chef in a restaurant that you owned that failed. Yeah. Now I know a lot of restaurants fail, but
for other reasons. Yeah, for a lot of reasons, right? Yeah.
All right, let's go to Bill on the northwest side. Good morning.
Good morning. You know, all these socialists / communists are using the same playbook. When they're challenged on what they've said in the past, they'll say, well, you know, I've evolved. They'll say anything that they need to say to get elected. Now, if and when they get elected, they'll de-evolve. You'll see that for sure.
I know. He was all for trans in sports, and I don't know, let's see if that's changed.
And I think people are really tired of these culture war fights that are designed to tear us apart, designed to get us angry. I mean, there are difficult issues. Trying to figure out trans athletes in sports, that's an issue where we could actually come to a policy solution.
What's difficult to there's no controversy there. It's like 1% of the people pretend they think that biological men should compete against women. And it's not even, they don't even really believe it. It's some sort of loyalty test for the ideology. They just want to find something that people will push back about so they can paint us as being anti-trans, or I get confused on all these issues. But
all right,
yes.
More of your phone calls and comments after the break.
The stories you need to know to start your day. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
The following contains a celebrity impersonation.
Mr. President, we're seeing reporting that air conditioning systems are failing as temperatures rise. What is your response?
I said, don't wait. People wait until the last second, then suddenly it's hot and nothing works. I understand this stuff probably better than anybody.
Mr. President, why hasn't the White House issued any guidance?
I gave perfect guidance. Call Air Right Heating and Cooling. That's the guidance. If people followed it, we wouldn't even be talking about this.
Sir, but homeowners have so many HVAC options.
They're not like Air Right. You got some bad installers out there, some real bad hombres. I wouldn't let them near the White House. It would be a complete disaster.
Mr. President, there are reports of significant rebates on new systems. Can you confirm?
I've heard about them. A lot of people talking about them. If you miss out, you'd have to be really not so smart. Tremendous savings, let me tell you.
Visit Air Right Heating and Cooling at AIR-RITE.com. Air Right. Doing it right since 1959.
Hi, guys. This is the Rocket Roger Clemens. You don't pitch in the majors for 24 years without feeling it later. Shoulders, elbows, knees. Trust me, pain doesn't retire when you do.
That's baseball legend Roger Clemens.
I tried the ice. I tried rest, PT, nothing really worked. When I heard about QC Kinetics, the concept sounded promising. Non-surgical regenerative treatments that help your body heal itself without surgery. Sign me up, just what I needed, real lasting relief.
Whether you're a former pro, a weekend golfer, or just want to walk around pain-free again, QC Kinetics uses cutting-edge technology and natural biologics to help restore and repair damaged tissue.
I trusted them with my joints. Now I'm back doing what I love.
Call QC Kinetics today and schedule your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 312-827-6261. That's 312-827-6261. 312-827-6261.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6745. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com
or call 800-575-6745. That's 800-575-6745.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Important information regarding the Italy Unfiltered Dream Vacation Sweepstakes and the Italy Unfiltered Group Tour scheduled for September 2026. Due to ongoing uncertainty surrounding overseas travel conditions and future international travel considerations, the Italy Unfiltered Tour has been canceled. As a result, the Italy Unfiltered Dream Vacation Sweepstakes has also been canceled, and no prize will be awarded. We understand this may be disappointing and appreciate your interest and participation. Additional information regarding the cancellation is available on our station's website on the Contests and Sweepstakes page. Thank you for your understanding and for being a valued member of our listening family.
If you've saved $100,000 or more for retirement, call Steve Shyman today at 833-945-7283. That's 833-WILL-SAVE, 833-WILL-SAVE. Schedule your no-cost, no-obligation retirement review and make sure your plan is built to protect what you've worked so hard to earn. And don't forget to listen to Steve's show, Protecting Your Assets, Saturday mornings at 8 a.m. right here on AM 560. Call now, 833-945-7283.
AM 560, The Answer.
As they say, let's finish strong. Thank you so much for joining us
pleasure.
today.
It's totally mine.
Brantz, anything new on the menu there you want to discuss or you want to tease to get people to come to your
our
establishment?
menu is we are so, I don't mean to sound cocky, but we got a line of people at the door, but we have 10 that are best-selling items, our burgers and our ribs, and people will come back for those. I know people who eat burgers and ribs 3 nights a week, and they're not sick of them after years and years. I eat a Brantz burger almost every day. I have
Is
for 14
Mr.
years.
Tallarico there from Texas shoving meat in his mouth?
This nonsense about a vegan diet or a vegetarian diet being healthy. I can attest to the fact that a meat and fat diet is what's healthy. I don't eat that crappy bread stuff. That's...
You mean the evil carbs?
Evil. Well, carbs can be evil, particularly processed carbs are evil. This is not my opinion. This is all the research I've done. So I feel a lot better. I'm doing another triathlon in 3 weeks, and I felt so much better in the last 3 or 4 years when I've gone almost very little carbs.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much. And where's your triathlon?
In Boston. Swimming in the ocean.
Oh,
which I've never done that
I'll
before.
keep an eye on you with your
Please-
tracker,
please
your
do,
ankle
yeah.
tracker.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for making us part of your morning. We so very appreciate it. Justin Kosick, Keith Conrad, who's in for Quinn, and Dan will be back here tomorrow. It is now 9 a.m. WIND Chicago.
This is a Fox News alert. Dr. Anthony Fauci may face prosecution. I'm Dave Anthony. After a Senate committee vote a short time ago to hold the ex-presidential COVID advisor in contempt of Congress.
On behalf of the millions of people harmed by Anthony Fauci, resoundingly yes.
Senator Bernie Moreno and other committee Republicans approved the resolution a week after Dr. Fauci refused